Okie dokie. Are we live? It's me, Technovoid. It looks like we're live. Alright, hey folks. It's me here today. I've been invited on as a guest speaker for MIT Epona's Pokemon Unite podcast. So I'm here today. I think he's doing his intro as well. We'll be starting up here in 2 minutes. I'm very excited to see what kind of stuff he's going to ask. I think I may be a bit out of my depth on this one, just because I'm pretty sure everybody here besides me is a competitive MOBA player, or at least a competitive video game player, and I'm not that. I'm just a content creator. So we will see how it goes. I'll be paying attention to chat today, obviously, because we don't have any game on in the background. So I'll be paying attention to chat. So I will be communicating with you guys. I'll be muting myself, obviously, to speak to y'all and answer any questions you guys might have in the chat. But hopefully it should be fun. And I'm guessing Avelinks. I'm guessing we're going to be starting here in just a minute. I should probably undeafen so I can hear when they start. Hey Stormy, welcome guys. Excited for this. We'll see how my inability to talk about competitive play goes in this room full of people who play video games competitively. And then there's me who doesn't. So this should be fun. This should be very fun. I don't know what kind of questions we've got. Nothing here is scripted. So I don't know. I got no clue. And it's 10, so I'm guessing we're gonna get started now. So I should probably I should shut up and let him do his intro, I'm guessing. Do. If you guys want music in the background, let me know. I have some MapleStory music that I can play in the background. I just wanted to make sure I don't drown anybody out. Maybe after the intro, we'll play something in the back. Stormy, what do you mean we'll do great? This isn't a test. I'm not being tested. This is my AP exam all over again. I came to the test in my underwear. Oh no. No, I'm excited for this. This should be fun. It's a shame Lazadin couldn't make it today, but should be a good. Throwbacks to Mr. Bauer. Oh my god, yeah, true that. It is a test. It's a test. I'm gonna fail. If I fail, I'm never allowed to play Pokemon Unite ever. Illegal. It builds character. God, that teacher was something else. No, actually nobody here is a big streamer, except for me. I'm pretty much the biggest content creator here. Most of these folks are competitive players. So MIT Epona, this guy, he brought together a bunch of...
So here we're going to start off with a bunch of introductions about everybody. I'll go first just to show a little bit of a template. My name is MIT Epona, or Epona. I'm from the Southeast US. I've played Dota 2 before. Bunch of Pokemon games like Pokemon Go, so that's what brings me here. A little bit of a interest combination. I played an aggressive Eldegoss during the Japanese stress test and had a lot of fun with that. So that's a little bit about me. If we just want to go alphabetically down the list, I'll swap here to this other overlay where we got the other people in the call. If they want to go and just introduce themselves real quick.
Yep, sounds good. Hello everyone, I'm Dunmuir. I am a top 100 Overwatch main tank player. I currently live in Las Vegas, and I am looking to talk about the game a little bit in the competitive sense of it and how it works out in that sort of a way. Yep. I'm also currently streaming, so if you want to come see me while I'm talking, come. But
yeah, so who is streaming? Yeah. It's you. Techno, are you streaming?
I am streaming, yes.
Okay, JJ, are you streaming? You're muted.
No.
No? Okay, that's fine. Is anybody else?
Yeah, I'm streaming.
Cool, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Silk is streaming as well. So, out of the four of us, you can watch whichever stream you like. So yeah, Fletchahh, you're next.
Hey, I'm Fletchahh, or you can just call me Fletchahh. I've in LA and always really just played way too many competitive games. As for Unite, I like MOBAs and I love Pokemon, so I've just put so much time into this so far. And as for I guess maybe why I'm here or whatever. No, at one point I was the only Cramorant main in the top 100 of the Canadian beta, and just generally, putting a lot of time and effort. So thanks for setting this up, by the way. It's cool.
Yeah, no problem. JJ?
Right. Yeah. So before I introduce myself, I'd just like to tell everyone else that are watching this, Fletchahh is arguably the best Cramorant in the world for Unite. So if you want to learn some Cramorant, you better go to Fletchahh.
Thank you.
Right.
Cramorant's
So
Teach me.
Right. So I'm an esports commentator, a multi-genre esports commentator. I mainly cast fighting games and competitive Pokemon, but I also cast MOBA, FPS, and racing. So, and at the same time, I also organize and manage my own tournaments and events. So there's that. As far as the Pokemon Unite is concerned, I just want to commentate on this, to be a commentator for Unite as well, and I'm also an analyst for Unite Stadium and Victory Road. Actually, they just opened it up yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm also the one who made the spreadsheet that a lot of people are using as reference.
JJ-kun spreadsheet is very
the
good. I've been
Pokemon
using it
Unite
a lot.
Ultimate info sheet.
Used it a lot for that
So,
beginner's guide video.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
I'm LunchBox. Most people who know me usually just call me Lunch. I'm come from Toronto, Canada, and basically I've got I've been playing League since maybe about 8-9 years or so now. So I've got quite the MOBA experience when it comes to this sort of thing. I guess I'm here mainly because play highest ranked Alolan Ninetales on the leaderboards.
Hate that one. Ninetales sucks.
I guess that's it. No, oh shit. Guess I should mention the fact that
Hater.
I am operations manager for Unite Stadium, which JJ referenced earlier. It's basically the hub, or what we'd like to be the hub for anything Go to Unite related. It's in database for basically anything in game where you can check stats and whatnot, current patch updates and everything, hosting tournaments and everything of that sort of
Unite Stadium Peanut. It's
Hey,
yeah. He
I'm
just explained
Silk.
it.
Probably go, but you see me on SilkOP in the game, Discords, and all that. Yeah, I have played League of Legends for 8 years. I've been playing Pokemon-related games since I was about 2, and I know it's pretty cool to be here. I have a server called the Unite Frontier, and I work on that with Dunmuir and Wyroom, and we do kind of setting up a bit of scrims related material for the game. So yeah, if you're interested in doing competitive 5v5 material, team creation, putting yourself in free agency so people can see you and probably go get on a team together. Yeah, that might be the spot for you. Also looking forward to hosting some tournaments because I have a bit of experience in organizing those as well.
All right, I guess it's my turn. Hello, everybody. I'm Technovoid. I, unlike pretty much everyone else here, don't think I have any competitive experience with MOBAs. I'm mainly a content creator on YouTube and Twitch. As far as my MOBA experience does go, I started playing League of Legends in Season 5, roughly around the time that Rek'Sai and Bard came out, and I've played sort of on and off, but only casually for that. I'm a big Pokemon fan. I actually run a Pokemon draft league called Triple Double Drafts, but in terms of MOBA experience, I mainly just really like Pokemon, and I like League of Legends decently, so I'm here to be excited and listen to you guys tell me and have me absorb knowledge about competitive.
Cool. I mean, you'll teach us some stuff too. I'm saying we got a lot of people that have a lot of different interests in what they want to do with the game. You know, I think it'll be a lot of learning for everybody here. So that's the introduction. I told everyone beforehand that I have some trivia questions. They're not crazy at all. I didn't want to look too much into this stuff in case things change or, you know, I just get bad data from something, like I look at videos. One of the things I wanted to ask was, you know, what's the highest base damage? But, you know, I didn't know if anybody would have been having like held items in their videos and stuff, so I didn't want to use bad stuff. So we'll start off with, you know, it's easy, but, you know, you might just not know. Which Pokemon have the lowest overall balance scores according to their ratings of all the Pokemon? And no cheating. You're not allowed to look at any notes, you know. It's just kind of, you know, you can think for 30 seconds or so, come up with stuff. There are 2 Pokemon that are tied for the lowest. I don't think the stats mean anything at all, but, you know, maybe they do.
When you say lowest, you
Wait,
mean like...
balance?
So they have the 5 metrics, right, that they rate all
Okay,
the
so the
Pokemon
lowest
on?
stars total out of 50. Okay.
Yes.
So total.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is kind of random. Like, you probably can't just know it. If you study all the stats, you probably didn't even care about this. But maybe you did.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
mean,
it doesn't
it's
matter if you get it
actually
wrong.
pretty important
Is it based off the 19 that
Yeah, I didn't know there was gonna be
are
tests.
released in the roster right now? Or
It's
is it
Stormy
like...
was right, I am
the
being
21.
tested.
Okay.
Oh, hey, that means something. Wink, wink.
I thought the lowest was 23,
Or-
never mind.
Or maybe it's misdirection. No, I think the lowest is 23. It's just of the 21 Pokemon that have been playable in either the
Ah.
Canadian or the
Got it.
Japanese.
Okay, so there's something at 23 then.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna take the first guess and say Gardevoir.
Nope.
Wait, don't we have 2 guesses?
Yeah.
Last voice.
Or do they only have 1 guess?
I mean,
There's 2 mons.
it's kind of just a free-for-all, I guess.
Oh, I was thinking. I mean, at least it feels like it. It feels like it's Charizard.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
think I don't remember exactly. Part of my mind thinks Crustle.
Yep.
Huzzah.
Damn.
That's surprising given Crustle.
And who's the other one? Does anybody know?
I said Blastoise. Is that it?
Nope.
Oh, I'm gonna sound like a fool. Is it Greninja?
Nope.
all right.
I'm
so
saying
West
it's
Boys-
basically random. It's
Let's put on
Cinderace.
a little. Oh, what the? Okay.
Yeah.
kinda
That
random.
makes sense though, because it's got probably heavily attack weighted, right? Versus the other things.
It's very good
So-
at that one thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Cinderace has 8 stars attack, which isn't the highest. Pikachu has 9. Venusaur has 9. Does anything have 5 or 10? I divided mine by 2, which is silly, but yeah. So Pikachu has, Pikachu, Venusaur, and
By the way,
Gardevoir
chat,
have
if you
9
guys would like
attack,
me to do
along
something
with
else in the background while
Gengar,
this is
apparently.
going on, I can pull up some OJ
Yeah, I
or
wonder,
something.
Didn't they
Let me
switch
know.
a few from the last in the Japanese beta? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, they did.
well, this
so
is,
Gengar had like the most changes from the Canada beta into the Japanese network test. I actually made a tweet about it, how the stats, the viability stats changed from the Canada beta into the Japanese network test.
wow, that's great to know.
So what, like, in what way were the changes? Like, you don't have to tell me exactly, but I'm just mildly concerned.
Didn't
You know?
didn't Gengar's like ultimate move get completely changed? Or am I? No. Okay.
I mean, I heard that it got changed in such that before you couldn't see, kind of,
Yeah, I
when
think
he
that
was
was
under the ground, but now you can't, or vice versa. I don't know. 'Cause I know that you
I
only
think
have like
I
an
would-
indicator or something.
I thought that too, but I think I was wrong. I just didn't see that many. I think it always, from whatever, like, it was always invisible. But maybe that's just me misremembering.
Even from when I played the couple times as Gengar, I did notice people didn't technically see you until you were really close to them. Like you were invisible until you were within like melee range, or basically popping out of your ult anyways to deal the damage. And I know in the Canadian beta, like specifically, it was the like you were invisible for like longer, at least. Like, people did not notice until you actually reactivated your Ignite.
Chat, if
Okay,
you have
that
any
makes sense.
questions, I
Do you
can
guys think
I can
Gengar's
field
good at
questions
all,
as well.
or no?
I'm a
Because
big
I don't
fan
think
of
he's
him.
very strong.
Not when you could play Talonflame.
I mean, I probably have played the most Gengar here, considering I literally only played that character through the Canadian beta test and the Japanese stress test.
I think he's really
So,
fun.
I think
you were
like
losing your game
early,
because you were playing.
yeah, I don't know, like early to in the middle, like it's fine. It does perfectly good. It has strengths. It's pretty strong, but when it's to the later point in the game, people need to like actually blow up in like half a second. Yeah, not as good. It kind of needs to press a lot of buttons, which is a hindrance, I'd say. So he's all right, but not through the entire game.
That's what I figure. I think when he's Haunter, he's pretty strong, but after that, his abilities somewhat fall off because people just kind of blow him up instantly.
So, did you play any of the other Speedster characters?
Yeah, I play a lot of Absol as well.
How did Absol feel in comparison?
Oh, much better. You make people pop like a balloon. It's so easy.
So an actually good character.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll probably play Absol like for ranking because it's just like free wins. Or at least it's a lot easier than having to press a million buttons on Gengar. So yeah, that's probably the better choice.
I too
Yeah,
like to.
I mean, if you think that Absol is Absol's raw power, raw damage is too much in the Japanese network test, you should have seen Absol on the Canada beta test. Like
Yeah, I
the
feel like-
Absol then, the Absol then was different. Like it was way powerful. Everyone got nerfed. Yeah, everyone got basically the game got a global damage nerf. So, but even then, Absol is still great.
Yeah, I think
changes in the
I
system.
would kind of.
Sorry,
I
go
would
ahead.
categorize Absol in general just as probably one of the biggest pub stompers because it's just interacting with some of the abilities like what is it, Night Slash, or where the cooldown resets to be lower when you hit from behind is not obvious when you're facing them. So I feel like once the player base learns to how Absol works and how to counter like not attacking during Sucker Punch and whatnot, then the win rate will probably normalize more. But like right out the bat, like people who are good with Absol will stomp.
I think I remember on the Reddit poll today when they released the results, I think it said of that classification he was played the least. I was a bit surprised by that. Maybe people
Could be
didn't
because
catch
it's
on, or people
expert.
just didn't know.
Could be.
Oh,
because
you
it's
think
expert.
the difficulty level people stayed away from it?
I know one person was less interested in trying. Maybe was it Cramorant because it's difficult? I don't remember offhand, but that may be a thing. I mean,
Definitely could
it
be.
depends as well, because I probably gravitate towards more complex characters, or at least like for example the supports. Eldegoss is great. Eldegoss is strong. It's just not as fun to play because you're mainly just spamming one button
I
that
think
you
it's a
have
lot
to
of fun.
aim. No, I
Look. Support players like playing support, even though everyone else in the whole world hates it.
I'm not
mean,
even
I
a support
like-
player. I just felt like I rolled people. I was like, I
That is
can do some
true.
damage.
Maybe you're just too good at the game.
Yeah, no, I mean Eldegoss is the tank, mage, support, brawler. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So
I go the
definitely see
tornado build. I pump
Right.
out damage.
Oh, one more thing though. When we all know that Eldegoss was already good in the Canada beta. Just a fun fact for everyone listening right now. So basically, one of the what do you call this? One of the strategies for Eldegoss is just to spam Pollen Puff, right? In the
I don't
Canada
do
beta
that,
test,
but-
well, I mean, if you're doing Pollen Puff, of course. And that's I'd say the most builds for Eldegoss. But so the thing is here is Pollen Puff was 5 seconds, has 5 seconds of cooldown in the Canada beta, but in the Japanese beta it only had 4 seconds. 1 second changes a lot. 1 second of cooldown changes a lot. Especially when if you could spam it for every 5 seconds in the Canada beta, what more could you do at like 4 seconds.
Yeah. That does
Especially
make
if
me
you use the
wonder-
item that gives you health per move hit.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the shell bell?
Shell bell,
One
yeah.
thing I don't think
Mhm.
many people know about that is that it has like a 5-second cooldown on activation anyways. So it's good for like general lane sustain, but it won't keep you alive in a fight.
How
on its
long
own.
does it last? I mean, like, so say you let's say you're playing Greninja and you hit like a 3 burst or whatever. Does it give you?
I think it gives
You
you
value
everything
Pokemon.
of the move that you use. Because
Okay.
if I've used Air Slash and I hit all or some, it returns I think a certain amount. Not Air Slash plus with the healing, but with Shell Bell. But if I were to use it again if it reset and within 2 seconds, I wouldn't get Shell Bell proc again.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
At least
Got it.
that was my experience.
Yeah, I was seeing some stuff about Shell Bell with Wigglytuff with, I guess it's the double slap, the heal not proccing on the later slaps because of the cooldown on it. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah.
Side note on Wigglytuff, highest skill cap hero in the whole game, without a doubt.
Wigglytuff's
It's
fun.
It's good
I
to
know.
know.
I
The
feel like
Good to know
Well,
that
you
Shell
could
Bell
really-
actually has like a cooldown on its,
yeah.
Imagine-
Why?
You can literally travel from one side of the map to the other one in 1 cooldown on Wigglytuff.
Yeah, I think
Pinball
the-
4
IQ.
bounces.
6 bounces.
The thing
Oh,
is, I
6?
think the
Nice.
the movement is very good. You're getting across the map, and also like it has some damage. And is that the one that gives a shield, right?
The
The
roll.
Unite gives a
Yeah.
shield. Oh
But
yeah,
does
no,
the
there's
roll
the
as
shield
well?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah,
while
so
you're
like
in
it's
it.
cool, but I feel like if you don't pick the other move, you're kind of useless to the team. Like if you don't pick Sing,
Yeah, Sing's very
I feel like
strong.
Sing is very strong. Like it reduces their special defense, but it also just kind of stuns them. And it's for this game, like it sleeps them, which means you can
Yeah.
attack them and they don't wake up, I guess. And you can attack
Yawn-
them while they have
Yawn
like
is
a
also a
decent
stun,
stun,
so.
considering this game doesn't have
yeah,
super
you
long
stun
stuns.
them, and then you lower their defenses as well.
Yeah.
So you deal more damage to them. So that's actually pretty
'Cause
useful.
I feel like if you do roll out and then double slap or even dazzling gleam, you can do a little bit of damage, but like you could just pick a different Pokemon for that. That'll do a way more damage.
I will say that I agree that Sing is likely the better move, and particularly when in scrims or with people actually coordinating. But rollout is fun. Particularly,
Alright, look, in your video, you made it look
That's
a lot of
huge.
fun.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
you can
the thing
do a
about
bunch of
rollout-
damage just by getting one. Because if you bounce off
Mhm.
something with it, it resets your other ability.
Mhm.
So you can do
Yep.
quite a bit of burst.
I did not know that.
But
Chat.
is it better than Sing by
Probably not,
a long
but-
shot? I don't think so. Like if
I
you
agree.
use
I
your
mean,
ult and you
it's
sing,
got-
that's
it's-
like a team fight turned, right?
I mean, it's debatable as well because like even though Wigglytuff is considered as its role as I would call this as a sport. I really recommend people to just disregard the roles that are given to them in game because they don't really work as what their role is telling them that they're supposed to do. So for here, Wigglytuff could be played as either a tank or
Attack
or a
Bruiser.
DPS or DPS, right? Or a bruiser, exactly. So
Well, like-
It's wild.
it's kind of it just depends on how you're going to be having your synergy with your teammates. Like in some cases, Sing would be a better option, but at the same time, there are other Pokemon who could do the same thing as Sing. Other CC moves. So it would just
That's like,
depend,
I
I guess,
like
on,
what I'm hearing.
as I mentioned earlier, how you're going to be having your synergy with your teammates.
I just don't think rollout does enough for it to even matter. Like it doesn't.
As a
if you-
bruiser, yeah, it does.
how much? Do you know how much it does? Like
It-
There's a lot.
around
I mean,
about. Wasn't it just
it
like
doesn't-
maybe a couple hundred or so?
It doesn't do much damage, but it does stun. It's both the engage and escape, and it resets your other abilities. So you can,
Mm-hmm.
because I took Dazzling Gleam because that's the biggest burst one, and you can take out like more than half their health if you Dazzling Gleam, bounce, and then with rollout, and then do it again.
I'd-
For like an attacker, I guess.
I'd like to ask a question
And it's
about.
AOE as well.
One of the things I wanted to add about the Wigglytuff thing with the rollout, though, is one of the things that it does, it makes fighting Wigglytuff in like a choke point really impossible. Because that thing, especially if any of the person who's using it knows how to aim at a wall properly, it's going to hit you with the 6 bounces. And I'm pretty sure, like, even though you're like, oh, that's just a bit of damage, after 6, it really does add up. And each time you're hitting
bounce
them, it's
does
like a 5-second
tons.
stun, or 0.5 second, like, stun. And so it's like they're kind of chain CC'd repeatedly throughout that. It's pretty viable, just as viable for CCing as a team as Sing is. It just kind of depends on where necessarily you want to CC them, or like where you want to be more relevant, I guess, on the map.
Plus, I mean, this isn't necessarily good as a support specifically. It also gives you an escape if you need it.
Quick question about Wigglytuff's rollout. So, does it go through people and it just bounces off of walls, or does it bounce off of people too?
Goes through them.
It goes through people, stuns them, and bounces off of walls. Okay, all right, thanks.
So on any parallel
Yeah.
walls, you can activate it, and you'll bounce 6 times.
Okay.
Stun each time.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
just-
Okay,
It's also
You know,
a little
every time
wonky
you, like-
because
Every
it's also
time
a
you
little
go off a
wonky
wall
because
with it,
sometimes. Oh, sorry.
sorry. Every time you go on
Go
a
ahead.
wall with it, it extends the rollout distance to exactly the same as the original activation on it. So in theory, you could literally travel from the top of the map to the bottom of the map in one cooldown, way faster than any other Pokemon, while you're stunning the whole time, and you're invulnerable, so you can't be ganked during that process.
Well, you're unstoppable.
Have you,
yes.
like,
I'll take damage.
Do you have a video of that, or is that kind of a theory thing?
That's a theory thing. but it
Okay,
should
because
be
I don't
possible.
think the angles work.
hey, you got to get that
functionally.
Vel'Koz geometry in there.
I will say that the bounces is sometimes wonky because it's not always easy to see where you 100% you want to go, particularly on surfaces that are not straight, vertical, or horizontal.
There's a
I've
lot of
bounced-
curved surfaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've
Mhm.
bounced towards the enemy when I wanted to run away a couple times, and that did not work out well.
Dang, I feel like I need to watch a video on Wigglytuff. I don't think I faced a single one the entirety of the stress test. I have no clue about this character but facing it. I played it like with it a couple times, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool. But it definitely is not my character to play at all.
I will say for theory crafting, I would like to see how Wigglytuff and Mime would do in lane together with Sing and then like the AoE stun from Psychic. I feel like you could potentially lock down, like stun him initially with Psychic, and then by the time that stun's over, Sing procs, and then you're also getting stuns just from their AAs. So I feel like it'd do just a lot of stunning.
Yeah, that could be something. And I know
Does
Mime early game does a
Mr.
lot of
Mime
damage.
stun?
What's
I
that?
don't think Mr. Mime has much stun in it, does it?
If
Maybe
you use
not.
a psychic, you to the wall.
Yeah.
Well, that's the confusion.
Confusion,
the other
sorry,
one,
yeah.
Yeah, they actually buffed him a little by adding differences with the other moves. I ran more recent, like, well, at least if you're talking about stuns, Mr. Mime has every third stun is like his enhanced auto is like a small AoE stun before he hits, and then I like using Psychic, which is it basically does a damage in area around him, and if you're running Guard Swap, it also does the same thing around whatever Pokemon you have Guard Swap on, and anything overlapping enemies in there get stunned. Or they just change with
So that's how it
barriers, the walls. If you use Psychic and hit someone that's against one of their walls, it stuns them.
Which of the Mime move sets is like sort of preferred? Because when I played Mime, pretty much the only thing I did is like Vein Condemn into barriers over and over, and had so much fun with it. But is Guard Swap Psychic better?
I don't think Guard Swap's really strong in general. I think that thing gets you pretty swole. You can just start shoving people around or using Psychic or whatever, whichever one you prefer. I think either one's fine. But yeah, no, the Guard Swap definitely can get you some good stat, just like a good stat check on people.
I was scared to use it during the beta because I couldn't read the tooltip, so I just stuck with the other one.
It was a long tooltip, yeah.
Yeah, I think the combination could be good. And it does do a decent amount of damage. It's just nobody really tried it out because everybody was picking wall, which I personally don't think is very good.
I ended up, I played it probably, I don't know, I played a lot of Mime in the Canadian beta, but in the Japanese beta, I played at least
Hello,
several games with
Firefox.
them.
Thank you for
and
the
I
follow.
ended up liking Psychic, the one that AoE around you, and Wall. That may change based on if we actually get numbers for guard swap or if any of that changes, but it seemed a little easier to hit the stun with that.
I just prefer the kind of stat boost. Someone recommended it to me. I tried it out. It felt pretty strong. I didn't feel like I was as squishy as I was before, obviously, because that's kind of how the move works. But it seemed like it was a significant boost in stats. It would depend on who you're using guard swap on, right? But yeah, it feels like it's pretty consistently good against a wide range of cast of teams.
What happens if you use wide swap or guard swap on a Crustle and then before Crustle shell smashes or after? Does it change the effect at all?
Probably. I would
Okay.
imagine.
I'm just wondering. I'm going into theory again. Sorry.
I would think it's some
No,
sort
no.
of like original buff that the Crustle gets,
Hmm.
and he keeps it throughout. That's what I would guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point,
things needing
because
testing.
with all the limited resources that we have, we we just have to work with what we have, and especially that like Timmy Studios or the game itself hasn't really given us any like actual specific details. Like, yeah, sure. For example, like Water Gun's description for like Slowbro is builds up power to shoot a fierce stream of water which deals damage, yada yada yada. But we don't have the actual numbers or statistics or specific details about these moves. So that is actually something that we have to work on as well.
Yeah, so like people look at Mime's ult and they say it's great, and I tell them to actually look at a video, and I think it's the most useless thing in the world. I feel like Wigglytuff Sing is better, and that's on like a 11-second cooldown or something. I don't know about you guys, but does Mime, like if you played
it's
Mime,
debatable.
did it actually do anything? It felt like a couple mini stuns that were actually like 0.1 second stuns, which doesn't really do anything at the end of the day. Unless you can cancel something with it, but I don't think you can.
I feel like it'd be really good in just a large team fight, basically, to disrupt the enemies. Like if you're fighting over Zapdos, you need, just to provide, and it does a little bit of damage, but just to provide support. So
Yeah, like it stops auto attacks. I guess. I think. I mean, it should, right? But it didn't seem like a Unite move, like everything else. Like if you take Slowbro's Unite move, it's like insane. But you take Mime, and I think he can walk around during it, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So like that's a cool thing. That's a nice aspect. But I don't know. It didn't seem like it had much impact whenever anybody used it.
I think it's fairly strong. Personally, I mean, if you have like X speed or like eject button to allow yourself just kind of pop into a team, it can definitely disrupt a lot of things happening, especially if it's
Firefox. I'm thinking
like Garchomp
about
or
maining
maybe,
Phil for the most
someone
part.
who's
Honestly, I like
who's, like, in the
Wigglytuff a
middle
lot,
of
and I like
Unite
Lucario.
that
Those are
doesn't
probably my two
exactly
favorite characters
just
at the
shoot out or
moment.
whatever, right? They have to
But
go through
I'm
the
pretty
process. It can
flexible.
definitely
I just
disrupt them
Talonflame.
and
I
make their life, like,
don't really
living
vibe
hell.
with Talonflame and Greninja
And
are
I
the main
think
ones.
small things like that.
Everyone
even though
else
it's
I
not
like.
that long.
Garchomp's
The ability
fun.
to make people not be able to click their ability for like a second and a half can have a huge impact. Yeah, like larger brawls, I guess. So yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, it's just gotta be good at placing it. Just like anything else. It's fairly big though.
I agree. It's more at best it's a team enabler.
But how would you rate it against Sing? Because that's my big problem with it. It's like,
Well, you can walk out of Sing. Like, Sing's more for zoning,
Yeah.
if anything.
yeah,
And there's also the full heal, eject button. You could pretty much get out of Sing. For Unite move, for Showtime, Mime's Unite move. Yes, you may still be able to use full heal, but before you even are going to be able to do that, you're going to be getting a lot of damage before you get stunned. So, if you're going to be too early, then you're just wasting your full heal, before the stun gets in. Because the stun only happens by the end of the, Showtime duration. So there's that. So, I mean, everything's good here, like the moves here are good. Everyone's moves are good, but it all, again, going back to what I said earlier, it would boil down to how they are going to be used. Different situations requires different methods. So
Wait a minute. Are we saying that Venusaur's Unite move is good? I thought that was a joke. That thing feels like so underwhelming whenever I see it played or when I play it. Like
in the Canada beta, arguably, in the Japanese network test, they killed Venusaur. They
did
killed
kill him.
Venusaur.
Yeah, people keep talking about Solar Beam. It hits me and I just don't care, or I just move. It's like I don't really
They
see
used to
how
chunk
it's so
like half
strong.
health.
I don't think I've ever hit a solar beam as Venusaur. I think I always miss.
And
Control sticks are hard, man.
Another thing from that, not only did, of course, Venusaur and Garchomp got hit by the global damage nerf, and Venusaur and Garchomp actually died in the Japanese network test, but they also switched up the Giga Drain and Petal Dance slots. So now you can't
Yeah.
have Solar Beam Petal Dance at the same time, and can only have like Sludge Bomb Solar Beam, Giga Drain Petal Dance, or the other way around. That's I guess one of the things that made Venusaur actually really great. With the additional movement speed coming in from Petal Dance, dealing damage AOE, and of course popping in some damage from the Solar Beam. But now it's no longer possible, so that's one thing to look out for as well. With Venusaur.
Yeah, like that was actually crippling. Like now I have to find myself where I'm playing Pedal Dance Giga Drain, and I feel like with my items I have to build tankier or anything, because I need to be able to use my health to just keep trying to suck people in and try to find groups where I can use the Giga Drain to get more and more and more health. And that's the only way I'm playing the game. It's just all sustained. I'm just a health bar. I don't feel like I can actually do damage. Not even with my Unite move. It feels like just like a flicker. It doesn't do much at all.
Right. But
Yeah.
but the thing is though, Venusaur is really good in the early game.
Yes.
Well,
especially
not
with that
Venusaur,
well, his vines and stuff.
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur,
Like
yeah.
yeah, those
How about
vines are
Cramorant?
crazy.
You feel?
Yeah, the Cramorant is pretty strong.
I feel
early,
like
too.
Cramorant's even better in the early game.
Yeah,
Cramorant's
they buffed
crazy.
Whirlpool from
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the Canadian beta quite a bit,
That's the crazy part.
and it's
Cramorant
you
is just like one of the best Pokemon in the Japanese network test, hands down. Not gonna lie.
Is that
You'll
partly
just,
because
like-
people are really bad, or will
No,
he
it's just
forever be that
lots of
good?
damage on the Whirlpool.
Yeah, but that's
Okay, now that
whenever,
we're here-
whenever I saw anybody use Whirlpool, the enemy would actually just sit in it and be like, I don't know what's happening.
Well,
So
what'll
they would
happen,
die from
though,
that.
A lot of times is like the best part about it. I mean, okay, tell me if I'm wrong, Fletchahh, but like the ability to steal enemy farm and like just destroy farms, like
yeah, that is very
is
useful.
crazy.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, people will be trying to kill, like, so say like the Combi and the Vespi Queen show up, they're trying to kill it, and then a Cramorant walks up and is like, yeah, lol, get out of here, and they drop it, and not only are they completely zoning you out, and they do like at least half your HP early game, but they're also taking the full camp too, and they didn't have to do anything for that because it's long range. Like that's
Yeah,
the kind of
and
craziness.
and a pretty low cooldown, as well as like if you're sure people can walk out of it, but if you're laning like with an Alolan Ninetales and you get frozen in the middle of it, there's not much you can do about that unless you have like full.
Or you're getting body blocked. You can be body blocked by the enemy team into it, just because they're there.
Is there?
Right.
Are you? I think we can walk
There's a
through
push
people
block.
in this game.
What was there?
Unless you're talking about like,
for block.
unless you're talking about like.
I thought you
Snorlax
could
and
Post, how do you
Water.
mean
I just
taunt?
a little
Yeah.
bit,
Taunt
isn't
you?
there? All right, disregard what I said, friend. I mean, okay,
That's
but there's a lot of
fine.
cooldowns that do stun to some extent, or like they hold you there a little bit. Just like even
Yeah.
like Snorlax's sleep stuns you. I mean, it doesn't stun you; it body blocks.
Which is disgusting. No, Snorlax's block does like 6 stuns in a row.
Yeah, you can legitimately stun 3 times.
Yeah.
And if you
Stun
stun
and
him,
Well,
voice
Post,
block.
there is going to be
more
voice chat, but it's going to be, I think, opt.
But I pretty much one-trick Snorlax the whole beta because why not?
Something that was
Yeah, I know.
that
I always
saw
could.
for that block though is that
Yeah,
I was like just watching.
I
a stream,
literally never plan on using voice
Dunmuir,
chat. If I need to talk to people, I have
this
Discord for
customer
that
went
to talk to
straight
people I
through
know
with
and
that
like.
scissor, and I don't know if that should be allowed. Like he walked right through it with that move. I don't know why that's the thing. Maybe it's a bug or something.
Oh,
But
Does X
Yeah,
X Scissor
dude.
give unstoppable.
It's actually
Because
not
if you
clear
have
to
unstoppable,
me.
you can
Maybe
just
it's
walk
clear
through it.
to
It'll
other
make
people
sense.
whether or not the
Yeah.
voice
Which
chat
I
is
think should
available
be
in
changed.
general
believe they
games, or if
buffed
it's only in
X's
pre-made
as well.
parties.
They,
It might only be in
buffed
pre-made
the
parties
Crustle,
post.
pretty much an overhaul, because number one, like Xer wasn't that great before. It doesn't knock back as much, and it doesn't stun that long before. And right now, Crustle is just like literally if
But
the
yeah, you
person
can also
knows
just
what they're
easily turn it
doing,
off. I
they
would
can
never
pretty much
use
tank everyone
public
else.
voice chat.
You
That
know,
would
like
be awful.
1v4 or 1v3 situation. It doesn't matter, especially with the help of the sturdy ability to lower its health. Then the higher its defense is.
If it was available, it would
also
definitely
just
be
seems a bit
opt
overtuned
in
overall.
rather than opt out. Yeah.
I think what it does is not inherently bad, because like what the biggest problem with like a competitive game, and like I know this from like Overwatch a lot, is where they'll make it so character is so inherently broken with the things it can do that no matter how much you change the numbers, of course, unless you go like insanely low, but like any sort of consistent good nerfs to the numbers don't make the character unplayable and don't even make them like out of the map.
Right.
And so like I don't think Crustle's like that, but it just the numbers are too high.
Yeah, and it's interesting if they do tune it down, if people will try out more of the Rock Tomb and stuff. I think that's maybe more matchup dependent, because if you have, well, depending on who you're facing, like if you're facing like Lucario in lane, Rock Tomb probably isn't going to do much. But
In my opinion, there's way too many Pokemon with high mobility, and everyone has access to eject button, and which is on a 55-second cooldown. So it's basically around for
That's
almost
Flash.
any time you're fighting someone.
yeah,
And it's just like Rock Tomb doesn't provide, like just that kind of wall is easily moved through. And I don't think
still
that
value.
if they
you
could
force them to
reduce
use eject
the
button.
it's fair. But
Trading-
like
I
at the
think
trading
it's
the
a
cooldown for
pretty
eject button is
decent
good for
sized
sure.
wall.
But I see what
I don't know
you're
if
saying
it's better
overall.
than Shell Smash, but I think Rock Tomb is actually a decent move.
Yeah, it's
Especially
probably,
if they're
like-
slowed at all. It stays there for a long time, so they get stuck. If they're like slowed and they have a wall, they are actually stuck away from their teammates or something. It's not the greatest move, maybe, but I think it does. Like it's one of the only terrain creation moves, if not the only.
Mime Wall. But
But yeah,
yeah,
Mime
Alolan
Wall,
Ninetales
and
has
then
one
like
too, right?
Ninetales.
Hello,
Ninetales
yeah.
one explodes though, or something, right?
yeah, it deals damage when you cast it and then when it goes down as well.
This one stays here for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, again, that's why I
Yeah,
say
a
it's
little bit
matchup
longer than
dependent.
Avalanche, I guess.
It could do
It's-
really, really well in late team fights with something like a Cramorant, for example, because even like Snorlax can't get full value out of his block if he's playing with something that wants to put like a area of effect damage down, like Pikachu's Lightning or whatever it's called. Because you want to keep stunning people and you want to keep booping them, but you can't get all 3 boops in if you without like pushing them out of it. Whereas with Crustle, you could force them into one spot and then drop like a Whirlpool on them or the Lightning on them, and it shoves them in there. And in a team fight, you could just dissect the enemy's team, and half of them are just taking massive damage.
Rock Tomb X Scissor
Good night,
into the Rock
Have a good
Tomb
one.
wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also I know someone did a video of it before. I forget. Was it you, JJ-kun, who did a video of Mime Wall and Crystal Wall and just trapping people?
That's probably not me, because the only videos I've been making are guard jump.
I don't know.
Nice.
Maybe someone else was telling me, but I
I
mean,
saw that
granted, you
video,
can
though.
still, yeah, you can still like escape eject button out of it and stuff, but if they don't have it, they are just like literally stuck there.
Yeah, it's a nice little rock tomb. Confusion shut them in, then put the walls in front of them, and then they're just
Oh, yeah, that
panicking
was
so
you?
they can't get
Yeah.
out. I watched it, but I didn't. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay,
funny.
Yeah.
it's definitely a bit gimmicky, but it's cool.
Mhm.
Oof.
Okay. Is there any other Pokemon you guys want to talk about? This is just the beginning of everything.
Beginning is 40 minutes. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I want to talk about why does Talonflame get to rush in from the middle of the lane and then get to fly over the wall after he scores? Like that thing is disgusting. Like, oh
Talonflame's
my
fun.
god! Like, how do you even how Dunmuir was talking about before? How do you even nerf or like fix that thing? Because you change the number, sure, it doesn't do as much damage, but it still is like just crazy ability to score and get away without any repercussions. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's
which,
that can be
which
okay.
move-
It depends on how much.
To be
it's
fair, Talonflame
scoring.
has the highest mobility and viability stats, having the perfect score
10.
of 10.
Yeah.
So,
It's just that if you're really
Also-
powerful in one
also-
area, you need to become weaker in another one. So they could make that his thing, but he shouldn't necessarily have like the obscene amount of damage that it comes along.
right.
With
Of course.
Yeah, I'd say which move you're talking about, Brave Bird or Fly? Because if both of them sort of do that,
All of
it's
them.
baked into its
Yes.
kit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a yes to that. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Is
Tom-
Brave
yeah,
Bird
Tom-
too strong? When it does like half someone's health, do you think that's a little
Well-
bit too much, or is that okay?
I don't know. It probably is a bit strong. It's more of the yes, you get the movement, but also the resets. Because if you do it with air, if you hit 2 people with Brave Bird, you can use, if they don't die immediately, you can use Aerial Ace like 3 times, basically. So, because Aerial Ace, if you hit someone with Brave Bird, you see the little like eyes symbol above debuff on their head. If you hit with the empowered auto, it resets if you took Aerial Ace. I'm not sure with Flame Charge. But also, whenever you use
it was just bugged in the beta.
Yeah, but it was also bugged here as well, which is surprised they didn't. Maybe it's older build or something, surprised they didn't change it. But anyways, if you use Aerial Ace, it automatically makes your next attack the enhanced one. So you can just like Aerial Ace, enhanced, Aerial Ace, enhanced, Aerial Ace, and if you hit like 2 people with that, you can hit everyone with all that and kill them, basically. It's crazy.
That feeling when it's a bug and not a feature. Crazy.
Have you ever played like a Valve game before?
Yeah.
There's a long list of those in every game. Yeah. Any other Pokemon? Anybody want to go over Snorlax? I think Snorlax is like really good. I don't think he's OP by any means, but I think his Heavy Slam is one of those things where it's really good, and I would want that every game. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
Snorlax really good. I play a lot of that.
I agree with that.
Just Snorlax
Because you
didn't
get
have
a
other
movement
moves.
ability, and you get an AoE stun, and it's a 7-second cooldown, and it does damage. Seems like it is pretty
And
good
you
because
can-
he can frontline, you know?
You also
And
have
you
a
can
lot of early
immediately
game sustain.
I mean, he is a frontline character, so.
Yeah. Plus, you can immediately combo it either into Yawn or into Block, and it's I think it's
Block
it's
is
a
way
straight
better.
confirm. Yeah.
Block is cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the
I-
second move slot, you know, it could go either way. But like, of course, Yawn can only target one Pokemon. So if
Maybe they
you
buffed
want
it
to-
in the
Yawn can
Japanese
hit
beta
multiple
because it can
people.
yeah, I can hit multiple people now.
But you can't.
Oh
like, just-
shoot! Okay.
I talked about this earlier, like when I was streaming. Basically, it comes down to like I'm not 100% on this. I'm about as 100% as you can be without being 100%, because I haven't actually played with Yawn. But the thing about Block is that Block allows you to displace the enemy into your own team, and while you're displacing them, which is already powerful enough, you're stunning them, and you can stun in like any average situation. You stun 3 times. I believe there's points. So something I noticed when I was playing Wigglytuff, as an aside, if you roll into like the curved corners, sometimes it'll bug out and it'll do like all of your hits there, like in.
Oh
half a
yeah, I
second.
saw that.
That's sometimes what happens with Snorlax. Sometimes his shield will shove someone into a wall and stun them like 5 times, like in half a second. Yeah. So, but generally it's 3 times, right? And with so you're displacing, and at maximum value, you could be getting 15 stuns on the enemy team while you're moving them.
That's a lot of
And
stuns.
they can't damage or attack during that process. I'm not sure exactly whether they can use ults or whether they can use items, but that's crazy. Snorlax
Anything
is
that
so
gives you unstoppable basically nullifies the move. But yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
and like there's some things that
I mean,
get
they
away
are
from
they
it.
are on the
active?
stun lock.
But if an enemy team, like if let's say you dive into the backline of the enemy team and start pushing them forward, and 2 of them use their like unstoppable to get away, well now their team just split up, and now your team's taking an effective like 3v5.
Do you know the uptime
Really
on
powerful.
the block?
How long it lasts? Approximately 4 seconds.
Okay.
I will say the one I agree that Block is better. At least the one thing that Yawn can do is Yawn can basically confirm a probably, I'm not sure how long, like 4 or 5 second stun, just straight.
Yawn can be like, wah,
Heavy
wah,
Slam.
wah.
So
Like that.
Come on, TV Studios. I know you guys are watching. We need actual numbers here.
well, that's something we can test on our own. I mean, I'm willing to put in some time to like test numbers. I don't want to
I
have
mean,
to.
yeah, we would,
but-
we definitely would. But like, this is if they want this to be an actual, competitive esports title. I mean, it is an esports title, but
Yeah.
so
Have any of you seen an instance where a move does more damage to like a jungle creep or a lane creep versus like another Pokemon? Do you know if that's a thing in this game?
Sorry.
So like if you use Heavy Slam on a creep and it does more damage to it than versus a Pokemon, do you know if there's any instances of something like that?
But wouldn't like the special defense and defense of that Pokemon or whatever affect that potentially?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's just an
Yeah,
armor.
all Pokemon
and
have
The
different
numbers
special
are
armor
just
sort of thing.
too wonky right
But
now.
do the jungle creeps have those kind of attributes as well, or are they
They
certain?
should.
Are they specifically like I have a certain amount of health, and
They probably have their own set, like defense and
They have their
special
own
defense
sets.
stats, like
Yeah.
every Pokemon.
because I know like everybody's routing the jungle, like how do I do the very beginning of the jungle, and I haven't really seen that taken into consideration. Obviously, we don't know if it's confirmed or whatnot, if it's going to be like a normal attack or a special attack and whatnot, but I feel like that has to be taken into consideration later on in the game when you are just walking by trying to hit them. Maybe some Pokemon do more just as they're walking by than other ones.
I have a
I
quick
mean, that's
question.
possible with maybe like some of the speedsters. They might have intentionally given them that just to force the fact that they want them to be in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question about the jungle. What is the point of the Lillipup evolving into Herdier, like when there's 2 minutes left? Is there a purpose to that?
Game
to three.
continuity.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it is.
Because it gives like one extra point, right?
Also, because it's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Attention to detail.
Lillipup does gives you 2 points, and then when it comes to Herdier, it gives you 3 points.
3, right? Yeah, I was just
They
thinking
also
that
all
seems-
evolved, by the way. Like the core fishes evolved too.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Lillipup doesn't respawn. The core fishes respawn. So it's like you'd have to leave the Lillipup the entire game.
I'm
More game
curious.
continuity.
I don't actually remember the Combi evolving. I think those are the only ones that don't.
Yeah, those ones.
It
don't.
doesn't.
Yeah.
It comes up every after 1 minute, but only Combi doesn't evolve into Vespi Queen.
Yeah, no,
So,
those
but it
are
does give
no
out
combis,
additional
so-
points.
That would be
Yeah.
interesting if it did, though. If the other 3 around it all evolved, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, sorry, those are the male ones. So, just like
That
Yeah, I
would
was
be
gonna say
very-
they're the
solid.
That would be
Oh,
really
that's
hard
there
to
you go.
fuck with, yeah.
It's
That
the,
is
it's
a
the
very
Vespiquin's
good
harem.
Interesting.
That
interesting
makes
point,
sense.
Interesting point. Okay. Oh, it makes sense. Yeah, definitely. So, oh shit,
They
the
did their
Vespiquin is the
research.
only female one in that area, and all the Combis are males. Okay, I'd take that. Shit.
Can you guys go over Slowbro a little bit? It seems like some people are talking about it.
I was a pretty big fan of it.
Slowbro
I
is
played
fun.
more of the
Slowbro?
janky set,
Forever
though.
Adron is
Haha.
crying he can't be here. He loves Slowbro.
Slow
Well, let's hear it.
nah, man. This is I'd have to say one of the best defenders in the what do you call this in the Japanese network test. Slowbro wasn't this good as in the Canada beta test.
I mean, I liked him. He's more just for like kind of an anti-carry, especially if you want to do a double laser thing where get your what are they called? One is slow beam, I think.
Telekinesis.
Telekinesis and slow beam.
Telekinesis. Yeah.
Telekinesis, yeah.
So you could literally just make someone not be able to move, and they're staying in the air for a while, which can be a little annoying, and it also makes them not be able to move, right? So you can aim a lot of things at them, and unless you're really bad, you can hit them fairly easily. But
Really bad.
yeah, no, it should be good, but the fact that it's single target and 2 of those moves do near to no damage kind of hold it
Yeah,
back.
but like you could use it against a Pokemon using a Unite move.
Right, right. So it is good for like that kind of use, but yeah, it fits a very niche purpose. But also Surf,
right.
Surf
Charizard.
goes in. Also, Surf gets really, really good later because it like knocks up with each wave.
Mhm.
Surf is really
But
good.
yeah, like once it's later, it's really, really good. But early on, and it's kind of a bit weak, like a bit underwhelming. But
Yeah, I think
definitely
upgraded
does
Surf is
well.
very good.
Space
Yeah.
denial, because you can just like set it up on an area and then they can't walk through it through the whole duration of that. You can literally completely split
Right.
a team up with that.
You also, I think you still end up healing with your trade as well. Part of the damage you deal with Surf if you've taken damage.
Right, yeah.
What?
I'm just not so sure if I want Amnesia or not, because, like, Amnesia, sure, it makes Surf do a lot more damage, like, considerable amount of damage. I don't know if that's better than the utility of Telekinesis.
Telekinesis, yeah.
I feel like if you don't have telekinesis, then your team value is so much lower, right? Because then you just have Surf and the ult, which is still pretty big, but I
Right,
think the telekinesis
Well-
spam is pretty strong.
Yeah,
I
think it
mean,
depends.
if we're to consider Surf as a special attack, if Surf is a special attack, because up until now we still don't know which moves are physical or special. Albeit, of course, we do know that okay, based on the animations, this might be a special attack, but again, we still don't know the actual thing. Then that only means that there's a knock up that would deal more damage if we're gonna be going for Amnesia. Supposing Surf is a special attack, and then of course with Surf's CC, the other teammates could just pop up their moves and have a follow up, basically. Making sure that what do you call this? Slowbro is focusing into CC for team fights. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can attest to the Surf being special because I do remember swapping Shellbow on and off Slowbro, and when I was back in the Canadian beta, and when I did have it, Surf did more damage, and to bring it back to the Shellbell healing off of one ability cast, it would heal off of all 3 Surf slaps.
Okay.
Ooh.
And so it was actually really, really nice for sustain. It just did an original burst because your telekinesis doesn't deal any damage. So if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't proc the shell bell, and so whereas Surf does. And so it's usually if you hold that onto it for a bit, you can get a nice big burst of health back, and it's pretty fun times actually. And then chain that with the CC, and it's you turn into this unkillable, just pink surfing blob.
Pink blob,
Bastard.
yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
but
Just
here's a
Elder
question
Goss,
though:
he's just
does
an
anyone
unkillable
know?
cotton ball?
Yeah, but does anyone know the uptime for Surf?
Like how long the duration it lasts?
Yeah.
Well, it just knocks them up, doesn't it? There's no
Well, I
duration.
guess
It
it's
sends the wave.
about
I think it's probably 2.5
between
seconds or 3 seconds.
yeah, something like that.
I'd say 3. That would be my. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you could just remove that off of the cooldown time, which is 9 seconds, and there have the quote unquote actual cooldown, because you could move afterwards. So technically, it's not 9 seconds
It's
of
6.
cooldown, right?
Yeah, it'd be 6.
And that's actually kind of huge if you think about it.
Which,
Yeah,
if that's how often Shell Bell is up, then you're healing with every Surf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that it's just different things for different team comps.
Yeah.
Telekinesis is generally not as good if you're not in a coordinated team or people aren't good enough to actually capitalize if you hit a lot of them. And I'd say that Amnesia's probably makes him more similar to Snorlax in to be able to single-handedly defend or attack a goal and stuff. I'd say in organized play, just for the blow up single target lockdown and blow up potential, I'd say probably telekinesis is better. But they each have. That's what I like with some of these things. They have different roles that they're better in, even if one is probably usually better in more situations.
I think one of the underrated things about this is that it doesn't just hold them up in the air. Telekinesis, it actually moves them. Because that really makes if they're going to use the item that makes them does it make them unstoppable? Is that basically what it does? What's it
We're
called?
talking about full heal.
Yeah, does full heal kind of make them unstoppable?
I've honestly
full
never seen anyone
heal-
use it.
So full heal, I've heard. Well, I know you can generally use it when you're stunned, and it gives you 2 seconds of unstoppable. And I've also I haven't confirmed this myself, but I've heard someone says it even works on. It was a bit spotty in the Canadian beta about what it worked on or not, but in the Japanese beta, that it even worked on Slowbro ult. So you could just, if you had it, you could just use it and then just go on your merry way.
Because that's one of the things I'm thinking of with this is if they have some sort of like Pokemon that is using full heal, it'll want to make them use it if they get telekinesis versus like during a fight. Because if they're held up in the air and people are attacking them, it's just gonna make it's like kind of like making someone use the flash or the eject button that they don't want to use. Just by using telekinesis, they use their item that has a 40-second cooldown, and then they feel super weak the next fight. So like maybe I don't know if Machamps are gonna get it, or maybe Garchomps, or some of those other people that just kind of want to get in. That's how I look at Slowbro as a pretty big team comp. It's like it's just scary. Like you don't want to get caught. And if you do get caught, then you're blowing something that you don't want to.
Yeah, and you
Or
can
you just
even
get blown
turn that
up.
around. You can turn that around for the Slowbush perspective, where he says, "Oh, you know what? That person has full heal. Maybe I don't want to use this on them because they're just gonna get out of it anyway and leave me, and just not gonna be able to use it. And then they kind of just go ape crazy anyway. So I could see it also being like a thing where if someone has full heal, Slowbro may not even want to just try to use telekinesis.
I mean,
definitely not Slow Beam because.
Well, but you could just use it on somebody else, and like they're not gonna have one guy that only does the damage usually. I don't think that's how the team comps are gonna work. So it's like you probably have a target. If they have full heal, then you could still use it on someone else, and it's very valuable. That's how I think of it. It's like it's not a bad move at any time.
As well, the fact that your the cooldown for telekinesis is a lot lower than the cooldown for full heal. So if you get someone to burn it, then I think you mentioned before, Epona, that they may be a little more either timid or just they're open up to be really capitalized upon if you hit it again.
Yeah. So earlier I was talking to Pollux, and he was talking about how he likes Ninetales because he can kind of throw down the veil while they're scoring. So it either makes the other team jump on you, or they just let you score, right? Because veil is a very strong move. It's on Ninetales, and it does a bunch of things. You move faster. You proc your third hit every attack. It's an AoE where people take less damage. It has a lot of value.
Sure,
it
that seems like a Ligma. I'm not about to be.
That's why I like
Ligma-ed.
telekinesis. It's like it
I'm
seems
not
to have a pretty
asking.
big range, and if they're kind of just
Slow
casually walking
bunnies.
anywhere, whether they're walking
Slow
towards you, they're
bunnies,
walking away, they're
nuts in
walking
your
through the
mouth.
jungle, and you just catch it on them, they have to react because if you're paired with somebody, that guy's gonna go on.
Slobber on
So it's either
these
they
nuts.
use it instantly,
Slobber on
because if
these
they use
nuts.
it like
Got you.
a second later, the
I
full
got
heal
you.
or something,
I ain't falling for
the
that.
guy's already on them. So
Good
they
one,
have to
though. Good
react,
try.
and that reaction can really just mess a person and the whole team up. So I think that's where I think this game will be a lot on confusion and really just trying to mess with the enemy team because of how
See if these
realistically
nuts
small
see if
cooldowns
these
are,
nuts can fit in your
and
mouth.
kind of how the team fights seem to coordinate each
I'm
other.
a Simple Flips fan, dude.
I don't know if anyone
I'm a
Rely
Ligma
on-
master. I learned from the
I
best.
wouldn't personally want to rely on other players being bad as your win condition for games.
Well,
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
You have a good one.
Well, no.
Thanks,
So,
thanks for the
even
follow.
in a competitive
Much
environment, it's
appreciated.
like if someone is trying to connect with their team and they get caught out, even something like that is like, what do I do? Maybe an Absol is coming towards them. So do they just
The
pop
double,
that full
dude.
heal and then
The
go to their
double
team?
whammy.
and
Tried
their team
twice
wants
to
do a fight?
get me.
Now the
Mm-mm.
team fight is worse off. They have to think about that kind of fast, or else the Absol is going to tear them
I'm
apart.
so glad I'm a Simple
That's kind
Flips
of the
viewer. Otherwise, I would have
confusion
fallen
that
for
I'm
both
thinking
of
they
those.
would go through. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay.
No, I mean, I don't know. I can see it for sure.
Because then, you use telekinesis, and then he uses his ult, so they're just locked down forever. They're just stuck.
What's the conversation about, guys?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got
I
sidetracked.
definitely agree that
Chad Simple Flips.
uh,
I learned from the best, man.
Slowbro, even with Surf upgrade later, is just.
Oh, they're talking
the
about
best
Slowbro still?
single
Talking about
target
Surf?
lockdown.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, no. Because before when Blastoise was
Oh,
the thing,
Blastoise.
I was saying
I would like to know a little bit
AoE
about Gardevoir.
wise, Blastoise really good at AoE kind of.
I'll ask.
putting
I'll
people
ask a
into hindrances and
question.
stuff,
How
and
does
then
that sound,
Scorch on the
everybody?
side of things. Now he kind of out of the way. I think I'm realizing more. It's kind of Snorlax and Blastoise because Snorlax goes kind of crazy. But no, yeah,
Alright,
from
guys,
the target side, he feels that that niche, definitely.
Can you guys explain Blastoise to people that like couldn't play him or just don't know how he plays in
Okay,
general?
so all right, so if you I'm not sure if I could advertise here, but like I'm just for this podcast duration, I'll be opening up Blastoise a sheet again on my spreadsheet.
Yeah, I was wondering why like him and
Uh,
Gardevoir weren't there. I thought that was kind of odd.
So I'll open up Gardevoir,
shit.
Blastoise, and Zeraora's things.
Blastoise for limited time only.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
don't wanna put in things here that are still not officially released yet. You know.
Screenshot now.
There's also
I didn't get
Good
a
chance
chance
they're
to
working
play the Canadian
now.
beta.
Yeah, there's like a make a copy button in the top left. I don't know if
Does anyone know what the parameters are for how much of the little Eon points or whatever you lose when you die? Sometimes it seems like half,
I don't
and
know.
sometimes it feels like you lose all of them.
Sometimes it's 50%. Mostly it's 60%. Mostly 60%, but like sometimes it goes over. Sometimes it's just half. We don't know. Like again, I'm calling
Take
out Team
screenshots,
Studios
folks.
and Pokemon, please. Can you
I
give
think
us some
it's-
actual details?
It might be like you,
Like
just-
actual.
you lose like 30 of them or whatever. And if you have fewer than 30, you lose all of them. But if you have like 50, you're gonna have 20 at the end. Might be something like that.
If
Just
you
to make
die,
deaths
you
more
must pay your
meaningful to me.
taxes. It's just how it is, man.
Yeah, apparently it's just a death
Yeah.
tax. Tragic.
I didn't log or track that. All I knew was I had less when I died.
so. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like dying is extremely impactful in this game. Like, or maybe it's because I played Eldegoss, but I felt like when I was dead, it was really bad for the whole team. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say
mean-
like I'm the best player, la la la. I'm just
I
saying
guess
like
how
I
it
felt
should
when I
be.
died, it's like, what is my team doing? Like they can't push as well, you know.
I mean,
No,
to be
yeah.
fair, like Garchomp was definitely so strong in the Canada beta, and this is me talking as Garchomp main, right? But in the Japanese network test, the global damage nerf happened, everything just popped up. Garchomp was already reliant on a duo, on a partner, into the bottom lane, but even more so now. Garchomp literally can't do anything without a proper partner in the lanes. You would have the least amount of fun when playing Garchomp now if you don't have like a good partner, most especially if it's LD especially in the early game, because getting XPs for Garchomp is really hard. So you need actual help for you to be able to bring out the potential of Garchomp with the assists coming in from LD So just to answer your question though, Eldegoss is really good. Like really good. The impact that Eldegoss does for a team is just the way that you could just like spam your heals. Just make sure your DPS could just like do whatever and they would still be alive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of the same point with like any team-based game, though, right? If you should be alive, because at most
Mhm.
points in the game, because if you're not alive, you're not. Let's say you're probably not part of the team fight, and so they're just lacking that portion of damage or healing, or CC, and so generally, yeah, I'd recommend like even on anything like. That's why you say, like, with a support, yeah, I could feel like it's devastating to die, like, and you're not playing a carry. It's like it's just an all-around team game. Everyone has their utilities. It's punishable, like, for anyone dying. Like, let's say even like your jungler dies, right? That's just
Mhm.
XP he's not getting, versus the opponent's jungler, while they're continuing to farm and everything, and they're just gonna be relevant, like stronger than you are at any after that. So it's
But
like
how bad is it to die? So um, like older MOBAs used to be like super steamrolly, right? Where it was like if your mid kills the other mid, like game could be won because maybe he'll get a level or 2 levels higher and he'll gank earlier. They were, a lot worse metas and like team environments weren't as good back then. But nowadays, like people are better at managing that, but also MOBAs are somewhat more comeback mechanic-y, right? There's something that allows the other team to come back. How do you feel in this game it is where, like, if you die a couple times early, do you think like it just doesn't matter and you're good to go, or is it some more of that steamrolly type feel?
There's
I think
this game has the best
you
comeback
can't
mechanics of any
apply
MOBA.
other. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't think you could apply other MOBA games' tactics in Pokemon Unite, just because number one, the objectives are different. Number two, on other MOBA games, you have to destroy the towers, the turrets, and then eventually the Nexus, right? Of course, in Pokemon Unite you can't do that, so you can't like prolong the game of like saving up and quarantining, doing a quarantine into your base, taking out all the minion waves, creep waves, and getting yourself some resources just to get back up. In Pokemon Unite, you can't do that. Like the moment that Zapdos is gone, it's more or less game for whoever could get Zapdos, unless you snowball immediately into the early game. So I'd have to say that in the early game, it doesn't really matter as much if you die a lot, but like but like it only matters so much when we're about like 5 minutes into the game, especially when like you're already getting like 40 points, which when you already got into level 9. Of course, level 12 grants you the ability to hold 50 points, which got changed from the Canada beta into the Japanese beta test. And of course, dying, especially in the late game in Pokemon Unite, is so crucial, just because of the fact that you can't score anymore for your team. Like there are times that if you die at the last 1-2 minutes, you're essentially just off of the game, off of the field for the entirety of the match.
That feeling when your respawn timer is longer than the time left in the game.
Before we move away from
Pretty
Eldegoss,
lengthy.
I had one quick question. So how much of Eldegoss's like power in the meta do you think is just because Eldegoss has a good kit versus like being the only healer? Like if/when Blissey comes out, will Eldegoss get less strong just because they're not the only healer in the game?
So I'll answer that because I'm the Eldegoss guy. So Eldegoss, no, I don't know. I kind of spammed him. It seemed like I had to, or else I felt like my team was just gonna lose. I don't know. They just all die or something. So yes, Eldegoss is the only healer, but what I think Eldegoss offers, like that is just somewhat not absurd, I guess, but is way stronger than maybe some other Pokemon could provide, is the fact that the shield that it gives you, you can stack twice because the duration is so long, it stays there. And if they don't use the shield, they get most of it. I don't know if it's all of it, but they get most of it, it seemed, as health. So it's the fact that you go into a fight with 2 shields on yourself against the other team. That's what I think sets it, unless other healers also have shields and stuff. But that's what I think will set it against like other supports as super strong, is that it's an AoE and it's a massive AoE. I think it even gives the shield like in a bigger radius than the circle, so you just spam that on cooldown and your entire team runs at the enemy team, and they don't want to fight you because they just don't have double shields if they don't have Eldegoss. And I think even if you have something like a Blissey, I don't really know what it's gonna do or what it could do, but let's say if it has heals only do so much. That's why I like doing like the tornado with Eldegoss, because I feel like I want to offer something else to the fight, and the shield is good enough. Maybe down the road I might change it to the puff, I don't know, but it seemed like the double shield is what will keep Eldegoss potentially as a good healer and as a good Pokemon in general. That's why it's really strong.
Sure, and that's like to sort of go off that, I think that the reason Eldegoss, the heal isn't the only thing, obviously, but the thing, and this has been mentioned a couple times here, is that Mr. Mime and Wigglytuff are both such unsupporty supports that once we get another like real support in the game, like with Helping Hand and these shields and all these things that Eldegoss also does, Eldegoss isn't going to be the only character in the game that gives that team value anymore. And I'm just wondering if that's going to make Eldegoss less good in comparison.
So I guess the other huge thing for Eldegoss is like when you get to lane and you're level 3 or something, you basically spam your heal on cooldown, which heals you and
Level
your
4.
lane partner.
Level 4.
Level 4. Is
Level 4 is so when it gets pollen buff.
Oh no, but I'm
talking
talking
about
about the base heal.
synthesis.
I don't get pollen puff.
Synthesis.
So the base move.
Ah,
heal.
synthesis.
Level 3 synthesis,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, because you could get level 1, but it's useless because you'd rather just do damage
Yeah,
to
get
the A
leafage.
pumps. Yeah. So when I get to lane and I'm already level 3, I'm just spamming that heal as I'm running with my lane partner. And I think tri-lanes could be big in this game because I would be healing 2 people. And I just run at their Audino on the other side. And basically I just push them out because they hit me and I heal. That's the other like early game thing that could easily be replaced by some other support that heals. That's not something that will forever stick with Eldegoss probably. And that could, like if Blissey or Chansey I guess is super strong early game, that could push Eldegoss out as a support or something. That's how I see it.
Well, not yet.
kind of
Definitely
losing its
definitely not in the near future, because if Blissey is going to come out as one of the healers again, alongside Eldegoss, there's still just 2 of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before we start getting some supports.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, unless if we have like 50 characters in, like you could have like band faces and everything.
Yeah.
Actually, then we could see the potential of these. Oh, if we have this, let's say, then we'd see less power, less usage, less optimized use for Eldegoss, things like that.
Like the question was just like, what would make you not pick Eldegoss, and that's basically it. If there's some like early game thing that is just absurd, that's because I think the shield when you pick it up, what level is it? Let me see.
It's 6, I think.
Current score?
It's level 6. Yeah,
6.
which like realistically is pretty fast. Like, I mean, it's not like level 4, of course, but level 6 really doesn't take that long to get. And then you start spamming out this, the shield. I think it's super strong. I didn't mess with Cotton Spore at all. I could see if it works, if it's good and stuff, but I'd rather just do the double shield.
I think they buffed it since Canadian beta, and now at least the plus, the upgraded version, now stuns at the end of it. So
okay,
that's at least something.
Yeah. On that note, how do you guys feel about the class, like how many characters are in each role? Like I just feel like, especially after Guard 4 coming out, there's just gonna like almost half of the cast is gonna be attackers at that point, or like a third.
Well, I think I mean it's basically It's attackers. What 6 attackers right now? It's basically 3 of everything, 6 attackers,
and 4 all-rounders. So it's 6, 4, and then 3, 3, 3.
Oh, that's true. Sorry,
there will be 4 things or 4 defenders.
There will be 4 defenders, and then there will be 7 attackers.
Their role titles doesn't even their role titles doesn't even matter.
Yeah, especially given that 2 of the supports aren't really support, so we really have 1 support, and then
right.
And you could also say that Alola Ninetales is partially support.
Alola Ninetales has some team utility. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to go back, if you don't mind, just real quick thoughts on like dying and all in the game. I feel
that's a pretty deep topic, man. Thoughts on dying. Alright.
I think since Zapdos is such a big swing, I think most things, at least at the start, until we get a better paradigm, maybe should be framed in terms of like, how does it affect Zapdos, the Zapdos fight? It's basically either if you're ahead and you know you're ahead, you can play defensively. You don't even need to take Zapdos to stop them from getting it. If it's or vice versa, if you know you're losing, you need to try to take it. But if it's more even, that's more of a toss-up, more up to chance because you don't know the scores. One thing I feel like in general, dying late is worse. I am gonna be interested to see if people end up taking a lot of the damage on up damage on dunks items, because I feel like sometimes when I had the most strong game as Cramorant, is when I was able to get a little bit of get a few early kills and make a lot of just low point dunks in the beginning, and then I was set doing a ton of damage the rest of the game.
Mhm.
So,
Do we have any
that's
idea what
one
the numbers are like on that though?
well, at least
I would assume
so
it's a percent buff, right?
I think it adds just flat special attack. I think I remember reading that for the specs, it adds like a flat at level 20 and up. It adds like a flat 16 special attack per dunk, and I think 12 attack
Just
for the
16 additional damage, basically. on
No,
special attacks?
no, it's not damage. We don't know the damage equation. It's some sort of
Yeah.
scaling. Because you could do
At
noticeably
least-
more damage.
But obviously felt substantial to you.
Yeah.
At least based
Is there
on
one of that for health?
based on the sorry.
There is one for
sorry,
health.
sorry,
Yes,
wrong
AOS
one.
cookie.
But to be fair,
Based-
like
sorry.
Based on the
Go ahead,
head of the
JJ.
beta, it's plus 24 special attack each for specs.
I think
Up
plus
to
24 plus. I think it's plus 24 is the max you get from Shell Bell. Also, I think they stack a maximum of 6 times. I think at least I'm not sure of the Japanese beta. That was true with the Canadian beta, and sort of makes sense if you think of like Pokemon
Cookie does
games
6.
stuff.
Cookie does 6.
Yeah, I think
Cookie
I
does
think all
6,
of them
but
do
like
6.
attack weight and specs only does 4. At least in the
Really?
kind of the beta, we're not still.
Oh, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I tested them that they did 6, or at least kept going up. We don't like this is why, like you said before, they need to release the information. And 6 makes sense to me because the cookie has it, and because if you think of the normal Pokemon mainline games, buffs can go stack up to
Plus 6.
6 times or down 6 times.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
In terms of like what the actual, so this isn't necessarily with specifically the special attack specs, but I did at least do, like in the Canadian beta, a little bit of like damage tracking on one instance. Like here, I think I can bring it up. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yep.
I can.
So
It's up. Yep.
this is just like one instance of damage.
This is the thing we should be getting at the
Yes,
beginning.
I totally agree with you. And giving this only allows, if we look at
Cramorant.
this across a bunch of Pokemon, it only allows us to try to reverse engineer the damage calculations and stuff. And this
See, I
may
was
not be
gonna
true.
do that, but then I figured all the numbers were gonna change, and then I'd be sad. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I did this
exactly.
just to
That's
test-
why I've been calling out Timmy. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Timmy, come
Well,
on, please.
And
do you guys
that's why
think
I
they're
only
gonna give
did it for
numbers?
this-
Because I don't think they will.
I don't think
I don't know, man.
I-
Numbers are
I hope
scary.
data mining comes
You
through.
keep asking
hope
for
we're
it,
able
but
to.
I don't think so.
Mhm.
I don't think it'll be
Okay.
official
To be
numbers.
fair, we're still not at the full release. So maybe I really hope. I know, Timmy, you're watching again. Full release. We need this. We need this for competitive reasons.
Yeah.
It seems
And
like they are
that's
trying to
also
sell
why
it
I
as a
only did
casual
the-
MOBA, though. So I get the feeling that it'll be
That's-
through data mines, if that.
I don't
Yeah, if we
even know
can.
though.
Yeah,
because
but like,
here's
Server
but
side.
even then, though, here's the thing. If I don't know, man. Like this is just.
I agree we should have it. I just don't think we
about
will.
it as a MOBA game. You know, there's a huge potential in esports. And this is just a little bit of a off topic to what we're talking about. If they're gonna be treating Pokemon Unite as they treat VGC and TCG, I think Pokemon Unite is going to die really, really quickly. They have to treat this as a MOBA game, as an esports title, separate from those of TCG and VGC, much like they are treating Pokken Tournament as an actual fighting game. If they're not gonna be treating this as an actual MOBA game, I think again this is just gonna die pretty quickly. You know, like
Are you
even
thinking
if
mainly in
it's
terms of like
quote
the
unquote.
esports scene, or are you thinking like
Sorry.
the individual game? Do you think the game itself will die, or like the esports scene will die?
The player base or competitive
Yeah.
base?
The player base, there's no doubt it will not die. It's Pokemon is still Pokemon. Competitive wise, it's going to die.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with
And at the same time, they teased this to be part of the World Series, so it doesn't make any sense for them to well, just because quote unquote this is a casual mobile game, they're not going to be releasing, actual numbers. Again, if they want this to be a competitive game to be part of the World Series, or have this be played on, or have some huge team names like TSM or Team Liquid or whatever teams, if they want them to be invested in Pokemon Unite, then they would have to treat this as an actual mobile game.
So one of the things that I think is interesting about all the talk everyone has been doing, I feel like there's one thing that people haven't really brought up, and maybe it's not important, and maybe that's why. But I feel like the Switch release and then the later mobile release months later is going to bring a massive resurgence. So enough that if you don't see anything on release, could they just be waiting for October?
Yeah.
Definitely. It's October or September? I forget. September.
September.
September. Yeah.
It's
October is the
September. Yeah.
new Switch.
September.
September is the mobile. Could if you don't see anything now, I feel like you can just wait till September, and they could do some massive marketing based off of mobile. Because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like mobile could be bigger for this game. Is that
for sure?
Well, okay. So here's the thing, though. It's Pokemon Unite is an actual mobile game. I am from Asia, and the biggest games here are played on mobile, and it is the biggest market right now. Especially that we have a mobile game, such as Wild Rift. We have Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Those are the top games right now in Asia. The only reason why, and I believe this was from an interview as well, or I think it was based off of Cerebi. The only reason that they made a Switch version for Pokemon Unite is for the Western market. In the West,
I can definitely see
mobile games isn't that great. Isn't that great, right? But if we're gonna be talking about Asia, just Asia alone, everyone's playing on their mobile phones. Everyone's main platform is now mobile. Everything is esports. Everything's just mobile. We have Marvel Super War. We have again Mobile Legends Bang Bang. We have Wild Rift. Yes, Valor. Everything's on mobile. But it's not like that in the West. We have League of Legends for PC. Yes, we do have Wild Rift, but the number of players playing in the West for League of Legends is still higher in the PC version than that of Wild Rift. We have Valorant, but that's PC only. But here's the thing, though, it's also going to have a mobile version. So if the PC version of Valorant is already big, then why go for a mobile version? Reason being is that there's a huge market for it, and I guess what I'm trying to say here is they are going to be marketing Pokemon Unite as a mobile game, not as a Switch game, because it is a mobile game.
I'm just expecting it to people. A lot of people are saying, the game is going to be out for a week and then it dies because nobody streams it. No, people are going to stop doing X. They're just going to stop playing it.
Yeah,
I'm expecting that part of the reason they might not be advertising it very much, Nintendo isn't retweeting certain things. Maybe Timmy is retweeting it, right? And other places are retweeting it, but it's not the big Nintendo retweeting saying we're launching this game, expect it at a certain date. I mostly feel like that's because they are waiting for a big mobile release. They don't really care about the Switch release, and that sure people might stop playing it now, but they might just stop playing it, and then later on a scene comes, and then they're like, well, I'm not going to start playing now.
Counterpoint to
something
that,
something that I found really weird, though.
That's just a guess, right? That's not.
Yeah, wouldn't Nintendo want to make the Switch release the one that they advertise more, though, rather than the mobile release? They're going to get more sales. Nintendo.
I thought about that
TPC,
too. It's a free Pokemon game on the Switch, which is pretty crazy.
We have lots of those, yeah.
Oh, are there lots of
them? I mean, these days with Pokemon spin-offs on the Switch, we got Pokemon Cafe Mix, you got Picross on the 3DS, lots of
Rush,
stuff.
maybe, or something? I don't know.
Yeah, those are a dime a dozen these days.
Nintendo is making more money.
Pokemon
Nintendo
Quest
is making more money in mobile games through microtransactions.
Yeah. Something I just find kind of weird, though, I was thinking about was, are they really going to have it so you can play ranked during the Switch part where mobile's not a thing? 'Cause that's kind of awkward, right? Because then people come
wanna be
in
static
and
in
it's
my
already
ranked
kind of
game.
saturated. It's already kind of
Yeah, they
saturated.
can
know.
fill those low
Yeah.
ranks. Let them have it.
Yeah, just reset
Someone's
the
gotta
season
have
when
it.
it comes out, and then yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, no, yeah, honestly,
There'd
here's
be
the thing though.
there'd be a bigger uproar if there wasn't competitive at the beginning.
So the
It-
thing to
it's
me is
harder
the
for, like-
battle pass. Is that going to be a Switch only battle pass, and it just
Oh
ends
no,
before
no,
mobile gets
it's
it?
account based. It's account based.
But like they could have just
the-
ended, you know, like
For people who
Battle
don't have
Pass. There's like
Switches,
Battle
you
Pass
mean,
2
yeah.
when mobile comes out. So there are Switch exclusive skins.
I get the feeling they'll probably rotate.
No.
The battle
no.
passes.
So they already confirmed this. Sorry, they already confirmed this that your funds would be platform based. So like say if you're gonna be putting out funds, topping up into your Switch account, in your Nintendo Switch, then you would only be able to use it on your Nintendo Switch. Same
I
goes
mean,
with
like-
mobile. However, if you buy something on your account, since you could still use the same account on your mobile phone, it gets cross progress.
Right.
So whatever you buy on your Switch,
Well, no,
We
what
get
I'm saying
that,
is
but-
you
You get
can't
on
like if
your
you don't
mobile.
have a Switch, you can't get the Switch Battle Pass.
If the
So,
battle
like,
pass
if you're
ends
a mobile
before
player, you
September,
don't
you
have
can't
to.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't
I don't-
physically
I-
buy it, and people.
I don't think there's
Probably not
gonna
like
be
that.
a separate one. Yeah, I
Because
don't think there's
out
gonna
for
be
like
a
a
separate
couple
battle
months.
pass
That's
for.
kind of long, right? For battle passes, I
I
think that's pretty long.
I think
Battle
I
Pass?
fully
You think it's
expect
fine?
that the battle passes will rotate out, and eventually this battle pass that we're getting prior to September will eventually come to mobile, and it'll be the same for both. I think it'll be concurrent, and it'll just rotate back in at some point.
Do you guys
I mean,
know
I
based off
guess
how long
what
you
what
played
what
when
what
you
we're
get to the
trying to
end
say
rewards?
here is
Like, do you know how
okay.
long the battle pass
It took
is?
a while, but you can't trust the.
Usually
timing
it's
on
one. Usually it's 1 month. For mobile games, it's usually 1 month. Sorry, 1 month. 1 month. 1 month each. So at best, we might get 2 battle passes for the Nintendo Switch version. Then maybe we would be getting some Switch exclusive skins because hey, we were the first players the first 2 months. Yada yada yada. Sucks to be you. You don't have a Nintendo Switch, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it should be more than that. If it is more than that, then aside from cosmetics, then I think it would really be sucky for you not to have a Nintendo Switch. And again, this is a game with cross-platform and cross-progress compatibility. So it doesn't really make any sense for us to have anything more than a cosmetic.
Well, I was saying that because
exclusive.
someone said something about like incentivizing buying Switches, and I was like, well, if they have a Switch only battle pass, that in
Oh, we lost him. So
Oh, he died.
yeah, I mean, basically the point if anybody wasn't completely sure where he was going with that, I think I had a good idea. Basically, Nintendo wants to incentivize people buy the Switch version, so they give a Switch Battle Pass, and so you get those. Welcome back. So you get those rewards. So it's like you should buy a Switch if you want these rewards. But I think that eventually they will come back, just because that's free money. It might be semi-time limited, but it's not going to be permanently time limited, that stuff, because, I mean, that's not good in the long term for them money-wise. They will want to re-release it. It'll be time limited temporarily. Maybe for the first year or the first year and a half, it is a Switch exclusive, but it will eventually come to mobile, especially if mobile, as JJ-kun is saying, is going to be the bigger market. There's no way they don't bring it over. It's free money.
well, they could just do battle pass 2.
Right, but the skins from Battle Pass 1 that people on mobile are going to want, it'll be time limited. As long as it's a Switch exclusive, they can get people to
could
buy
just put it in the
Switches
store, I
for that
guess.
time. But then,
Really?
after everybody's gotten that first one, they'll bring it back.
They could
You
do
wanna
battle
incentivize
pass 2 and put the
people
old
with-
skins in the store or something like that. I guess I don't know if that ever
They
happens.
make less money that way, though.
We can't have a mobile version. We can't have a mobile exclusive skin, because again, it's cross progress. So your account would still be, you could still use it on your Switch. But we could definitely have a Nintendo Switch only, the first 2 months player exclusive skin or title or whatever
Sure, yeah.
for for flexing purposes.
Well, like that's why I'm saying I expect, because everything is not advertised right now as much as other games do, like on the base Nintendo Twitter account and other places as well, that I feel like the Switch release just isn't going to be as big as like a lot of people want it to be, because like people want their game to be super popular. They want their game to be streamed because that keeps them playing the game for whatever reason. You know, it's like the viewer experience, whatever. So if everyone stops playing it or stops streaming it, let's say, then people will stop playing it, and people will be like, I don't want to play, you know, a dead game. That's like the common thing. Games that are streamed are very popular, and people keep playing them. They get new people. I just think it's an odd approach if they're going to do this huge mobile release months down the line. And maybe it'll work out if this is like a, you know, theory, whatever. And maybe it's fine. It just seems kind of odd to release a game, but there's not much exposure around it right now. So they have some sort of plan around
pretty
it.
less likely to happen. I think that's pretty less likely to happen just because of the fact that are you familiar with Dragon Ball Fighters?
A little bit, but I don't know, like, probably this. I know the game.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the game, yeah. So the reason why it's still not dead, quote unquote, still not dead, because people have been, you know, with the online connection and everything. So there's this issue. However, my main point here is that the reason why it actually thrived a lot and how it got a lot of players playing up until today is because it's Dragon Ball. It was able to hook up, you know, Dragon Ball longtime fans, you know, playing the game casually, even though it's a competitive game. And number two, it also hooked up, you know, the people playing fighting games. So those are two different communities that were, you know, hooked up into Dragon Ball Fighters. That is also the same case for Pokemon Unite. So people who just want to play Pokemon because it's Pokemon, who likes Pokemon, would be playing Pokemon Unite. And at the same time, people who are playing MOBA games are going to be, at the very least, going to try out Pokemon Unite. So I don't think there's going to be, you know, that much of a problem when it comes to Pokemon Unite being a dead game. It would still be very much alive, even just as a you know, casual MOBA game, as you know, Takis mentioned.
Also, probably maybe I'm not sure, a minor consideration here, but at least in my experience, like the gameplay of Pokemon Unite is solid and fun. At least it's not something.
Hear that,
I've
chat?
experienced that.
I agree.
Most
Y'all should
all of
play
us
it.
have.
It doesn't
Well,
last
that's
an
why we're here talking.
hour.
As well as the fact that it's not like a branded game that, oh, people are gonna excited, maybe it's gonna be good. Like, I feel like the gameplay's there, so that will help with retention.
So, like, the reason I was kind of asking these questions is the only way I found out that this game is a thing, and I am, you know, traditionally a mobile player, and also I play Pokemon games, is I watched the Nintendo Direct. So I came in like June or whatever that was, and I was like, cool, there's a stress test, I'll play that. But realistically, there's no reach to those MOBA players. Like, people that don't follow Pokemon but play MOBAs would like this game. But there is zero reach out to those people right now. And like, this game is very unique in the sense of, like, when League came out and people were playing it, they were like, okay, there is this champion, and it's in my lane.
This is the only thing I can talk about and actually have like an actual opinion on.
It looks like this, but it just shot a
competitive
fireball
stuff,
at me,
like,
or something, like, or it froze me.
This
it might be blue,
this I can talk
or it
about.
might be red, and that kind of helps you out. But when it comes to Pokemon, it's like people know a lot of the Gen 1, like, Pokemon, right? And there's a lot of Gen 1 in this game. You know, if Snorlax is coming at you, you know that he's big and tanky, and he might run at you. And that's kind of what his skills are right now, right? You know that if you're playing against a Charizard, he's going to burn you, do these things. So it's in this really unique spot where you can already identify what the enemy is going to do to you. And I feel like a lot of MOBA players, you know, at least know, like, the Gen 1 Pokemon or something. Like, everybody knows that. Like, people who play games know Pokemon. And they're just not reaching out to that audience right now, at least. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, this game gets Pokemon people, like you said. It also gets the MOBA people.
But
why,
it
like,
get
they're not
the
connecting.
potential reach.
Yeah, it's like there are all these like the League people, the Dota people, if there's still Han people, Smite people, right? Paladins, is that a MOBA?
It is.
Okay, Paladins people. You know, it could be getting all these people that just like Pokemon, but they're like clearly not advertising it anywhere outside of like its own Twitter account
Twitter,
right now, and that seems odd because
See,
Nintendo
that's one of the
tweets
problems
same
that
shit
I
every
mentioned
day
earlier.
about like their games, like
Yeah,
Mario Golf. They're just like Mario Golf is coming in 5 days. Mario Golf is coming in 4 days. It's coming in 3 days. Oh, it's here. Oh, it launched yesterday. It launched 2 days ago. They just recycle these same tweets over and over, but like they're not doing anything.
That's one of the things that I. That's one of the things that I actually mentioned earlier about why I'm really scared about for Pokemon Unite. Like, I really think that Pokemon Unite has a huge potential, especially esports wise, just because of the fact that it's a MOBA game. But at the same time, knowing the history of Pokemon and the Pokemon Company and the Pokemon Company International, with how they handle spin-off games, they don't advertise this as much as mainline titles. And at the same time, you know, if they're going to be treating it as VGC or TCG, then as I mentioned earlier, it's going to die really quickly. And right now, really, what you said is totally valid. They should have been advertising this more than they should be doing right now. I mean, the only thing that they're doing right now is posting, you know, overview trailers for each Pokemon
or HoloWare.
Like, and they're not retweeting it. That's
yeah.
That's why, like, I'm leading. Like, are they doing a mobile release, or do you think this is just how it's going to be, and they're not going to ever advertise it? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
The problem with
TP, they're going to do something or nothing.
The problem with TPCI is that they should, but they're super inconsistent when it comes to spin-off releases. This could very well be all they plan on doing, because that's just how TPCI operates.
Yep.
Can you give me more insight? Because I play Pokemon games. Like, I played Pokemon Go for a couple of years.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I don't really know that scene, the competitive scene of Pokemon, really at all. I've seen some stuff on Twitch, you know, some like 1v1 Pokemon fights, trainer fights.
Mm-hmm.
That's. Like,
I mean, if we're talking about other like Pokemon spin-offs from the past couple of years that are on like mobile and like potentially Switch, I'm gonna list off some names and you tell me if you've heard of any of them. Pokemon Cafe Mix. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
I think I downloaded it and it wouldn't let me submit.
Okay. How about Pokemon Masters? Heard of that?
No.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, yeah. So the point is, these are games that did not really get good coverage because they weren't Pokemon Sword and Shield. You know, I mean, even look at what they're doing this year with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which is a mainline game. They did one trailer for it back in February, and there has been basically no news except for like a 10-second part of the trailer in the OLED Switch thing. In the OLED trailer, they had like 10 seconds of a guy encountering a Buizel, but other than that, even for their mainline game, they're not advertising it at all. I mean, Game Freak and TPCI are just really, really weird and inconsistent about marketing stuff, so as much as I want Pokemon Unite to get more coverage, I'm not sure it will, even when the mobile release comes out.
The only way for us to actually quote-unquote advertise Pokemon Unite, the only way for us to actually have Pokemon Unite be advertised into its maximum potential is to hold events. And that's another thing that a problem with Nintendo, with the Pokemon Company. They'd like to keep events and tournaments to themselves. You know, with the TPCI systems where you can't hold a major, only we can do that. And if you want to make a tournament of an MSS or like a PC or whatever these events are, you'd have to go through us, apply for an event, and you have to be a judge. Which, I mean, I am a judge, but like at the same time, you have to go through them. A judge is basically an official officiating the events of TPC.
So you're like a
professor,
partner
a
person
Pokemon
that can
professor.
run tournaments or something? Is that like, and you can run tournaments if you want or something? Is that you have the contractual ability?
I have to go through, but I have to go through TPCI first. Like I have to.
So like you're a step up from everybody else.
Event. Not necessarily. I mean, I'm I'm an organizer for TPC. You could if you'd like to, you could actually take the exam on the Pokemon website as well. You could organize events which could give out championship points, which the players gather to be able to get into the World Series, and as a referee as well for the game. So if there are some disputes, some issues, you're the one who's going to be resolving it. But the point here is that okay. So what am I saying? Yeah. Shoot, I lost track of what I was going to say.
Sorry, something with the judge, like I don't know.
Before that,
it was about how TPCI basically keeps all like tournament like gatherings to
there we
themselves,
go.
and they don't let other people do them.
So, yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. So
I'm helpful.
do you notice? Have you noticed that there aren't huge organizations doing Pokemon events?
Yeah.
It's because
They can't.
Nintendo wants, the Pokemon company wants everything to keep everything to themselves, basically.
Is it not
you
a
can't run these
Nintendo-wide
majors.
thing, though? Like when I think of
Sorry?
Splatoon, isn't it just like random people get together and there is no org and there is nothing? Isn't that a Nintendo thing? Like not just a Pokemon thing?
Yeah, definitely. But like it doesn't get as big. Okay, it doesn't get as big as those that are officially officiated by Nintendo, right? And if it does get so big, then Nintendo steps in and and be like,
Stream, I'm
"Yo,
so
hey,
happy
you
I
gotta
can
pay us
finally
some money
contribute to
'cause,
this
you want
conversation.
this
I've been
tournament."
waiting
That's
for
why you
an
don't
hour
see
and a half to be
Smash,
able to say something
a
useful.
lot on like huge tournaments of fighting games. You don't see. I mean, Pokken is there, but like it's not as big. It never is a main title in any fighting game tournaments. Such as Evo, CEO, and all those events.
I wanted to bring up other games. I
VGC
wanted to bring up
wise,
Pokemon Quest,
there's
Pokemon Duel.
another
I
thing
got
with
so
that,
many, dude. I got
you don't really
examples.
see as much, Pokemon Sword and Shield tournaments as big as grassroots tournaments are compared to the Pokemon World Championship Series. So again,
Pokemon Shuffle?
they want to keep things
Remember
for
that shit?
themselves. If they would be, supporting these grassroots tournaments, or even these major organizations organizing major events that would want Pokemon in it, then I think we would be living off in a happy place. But as you all know, nobody gets everything. We don't get nice things, basically.
Pokemon Rumble. God, Rumble Rush, dude.
Anybody have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's generally it's kind of sad because the TBC, Nintendo, they do that. They do stifle a lot of ability for the community to grow itself through the way that they orchestrate like the tournaments, stuff like that. So it's kind of
Thank you for the
disappointing, but
follow.
I still
I
think
watch
it's
K
possible
porn.
to do stuff with
Very
it.
much
It's
appreciated.
it's just kind of hard to get anything big, because then if you actually get something big enough where like it's where it's significant regional wide like level, right? That's when they have their eyes on you. When they have their eyes on you, it's typically not a positive thing. So yeah, sure, like they could possibly kind of put some interest to you and look to collaborate with you, or they can just shut the entire thing down because it's their intellectual property and stuff. So then they can just shut everything down and make the experience really terrible for you as like an organizer.
Are you guys not worried about with like you guys are doing tournaments, right? Are you not worried about that happening to you guys?
I currently am
as long
so
as
small,
we
it does
don't,
not matter.
I know,
as
but like,
long as we don't get too big, you know what I'm saying? As long as an event organizer doesn't get too big that it generates a lot of money, investors, and everything, I don't think one should be that. One
Peanut
should
Scratch
be,
speaks your language, K porn. I do not.
That wary of
I just don't
Nintendo
get League
stepping
Mode.
in. But again, if you're gonna be doing such a huge tournament, then you would have to face off with Nintendo. So there's that.
Yeah, so in terms of whether or not, I'm kind of apprehensive about like holding tournament stuff, just in case things, did get bigger and bigger, right? I am not too concerned because I don't see the point in trying to limit myself, pull myself back with doing that kind of thing, because then you're just killing yourself either way, right? Like at least give it a shot and hope they like you, than just not trying to do anything significant.
No,
at
you're
all
helping
to play
everybody
the
out.
first game.
It's not.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna like sue you or anything because you're not making money. So it's just like you'll just shut it down, and all that stuff that happened before would have just helped people out. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no like downside to just doing it.
I mean,
Yeah,
as long as
there's definitely no downside, but they still don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we're doing these events and doing these events.
Are you associated with it? You know, is that not a problem?
Oh, sorry,
in sport?
no, sorry. So what I'm trying to say here is that doing these events helps you, the Pokemon company, to advertise your game, but you don't want us to do that because you want to keep everything to yourselves, which is
Well, I'm
really
saying
counterproductive.
since you have, this judge title, and they gave it to you, are you
Uh-huh.
not concerned that there is some sort of like I'm doing this thing?
Oh no.
No? Okay.
Besides, they already kicked off Asia in TPCI.
What do you
So
mean by
technically, even though my quote unquote license as a judge is still up until 2023 because they extended it
yeah, the
due to
request for
COVID,
2 Peanut.
I am no
For-
longer, part of the judge professor, Pokemon professor
Why did they take
program
out all of
because
Asia?
they took it out because TPC, which is the mother company in Japan, overtook the entirety of Asia, and up until now,
Oh, okay.
we still don't have. That's also one of the reasons why we're not in the Players Cup.
Oh,
VGC, TCG, and Pokken is because we were overtook by TPC, the main company, and we still don't have any information about our um any competitive thing, essentially. So
Yeah, that's
nothing.
kinda
Like they just
weird.
overtook us last year and be like, oh, well, we still have no plans. So there's that.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
It does, it
I'm,
does.
So,
I'm mostly just like listening, and I'm new to all this. But at least I would like to add just the additional thing of if there's potentially no. It sounds like there's not the huge downside to trying to make this going because ultimately it could just fail. But it also sounds like there's less potential upside, so that may scare people away as well.
There's
I don't
definitely
know.
there's definitely a possibility for like a hard cap. If that's what you're asking. Like for sure.
Yeah, or even if like I'm new to all this. I don't know too much about how esports things work and all. But like if there ever to be like sponsors or things, sponsor players, I imagine they'd be more turned away from stuff like this.
yeah, sponsors don't do
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about like if TPCI and TPC are going to treat this as their other games and not treat Pokemon Unite as an actual esports title, then yes, like no big names like esports teams such as TSM, Team Liquid, Team Secret, all those teams, they wouldn't be investing in Pokemon Unite
So
because they don't see the value in this.
An easy comparison for this is things that don't have competitive scenes necessarily. So speedrunning, right? I did speedrunning the last like couple years or so. There is no, you could say like break the record live, which is when a bunch of people got together and the top people from different speedrunning games came together and tried to get a world record in a certain category. That's like an event that happened like a couple times or so.
Or is it like games done quick, GDQ or something?
No. GDQ is an event though, so you could use that. So I'm saying like there are like 3 events per year. The only way that somebody gets sponsored for speedrunning, because there are no competitions really. Like break the record live still wasn't really a competition. It was who can get it first, but there is no like end goal because nobody could have gotten the record. I mean, technically you get a prize if you got the fastest time while you were there, but there's no like this guy versus this guy head-on-head match. It's not a thing like that. So the only way that you get sponsored as a speedrunner is that you're just a very large streamer. That's kind of all it is. And that's how I would expect you only get sponsored as something with Pokemon, is that you're just huge. You have a big Twitch, you have a big YouTube, you have a big something, and they're just like, hey, we want to get you to do outreach by being sponsored. So like, like a Temple Storm or something
I don't think
could
that's
just
going to
sponsor
be.
you.
I don't think that's going to be the case for Pokemon Unite. I think there would definitely be sponsored teams. just because this is a MOBA game.
But if there's no like, so
I mean,
sponsors
there's still a
partner
competitive
people
there's still a
because
competitive
they
scene,
advertise the stuff
right?
that their advertisers give them, right? So like Logitech sponsors an esports org because people are going to go buy Logitech products and advertise for Logitech. If there isn't necessarily a big scene for Pokemon Unite in the Western side, at least, you know, obviously like Eastern has its own separate sort of streaming that it does. Then people won't necessarily sponsor streamers if there's also no tournaments, right? So if there's nobody with like big views because people in the West don't really play it, and if there's no tournaments, then there is no reason for someone to get sponsored while they're playing this.
I think you are forgetting the fact that there are independent organizers as well coming into play. Like, yeah, sure, we might not have major events because major actual quote unquote actual major events are only held by the Pokemon Company. But even so, right? There's going to be events held by independent organizers that are going to be big. We already have established organizations such as Victory Road, right?
But for this game,
That for sorry, not for this game. For
That's
for
what I'm
other
saying.
Pokemon titles, right?
I'm saying this
For
game.
other Pokemon title. No, yeah, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. So what I'm trying to say here is that there are already established Pokemon organizations, Pokemon event organizations, such as Victory Road, Stadium Gaming for Pokemon Go, that are already branching out to Pokemon Unite. So from there, the only way for Pokemon Unite to actually survive or strive is through the help of the community, through its own community, and yeah, it's a really hard path to take unless we get official major events from other organizers. Only then would these sponsors see a reason to invest in these teams. Much like
you're
in
saying-
League, where not only Riot is the one doing events, Dota, not only Valve is doing major events,
This
other
is maybe
organizers
what he's talking about.
have the back of Valve and Riot respectively for those games, but Pokemon and Nintendo, they just don't do that.
I'm not sure.
So the people that run those standalone events that I can speak for Valve because I know Valve games pretty decently. The companies that run these standalone events are very massive companies and they have a lot of sponsors, so they can put up a prize pool.
Real quick. Good talking though.
Yep, it was nice talking to you. Oh, he said, I don't know. But like these are not like small organizations by any means running Valve events, not Valve events, running like a Dota tournament or a CS:GO tournament. These are massive companies that have massive sponsors because they know they're going to get a lot of viewers. And my problem was that you were saying the Switch release was for the West because the West is going to do the Switch MOBA or something like that. And I think that if there aren't viewers for it,
what I'm trying to
they
say with that
wouldn't do the
first though
tournaments.
is just to clear it out is the Western market isn't good for the mobile market, basically. So the reason why they made the Switch version is for the Western market to capture the Western market.
Yeah, so we need tournaments for the Switch game that North America competes in, right?
Well, I think he was trying to say is that the reason that the Switch version is made altogether, and I think from some interview or something, correct me if I'm wrong, is that is before the Western market and stuff. Like if they didn't want to sell it to them, then they'd just do only mobile.
Do the mobile one. Yeah.
That's not to say that the competitive may ultimately. That's just general market. That's not necessarily having to do with competitive at all. Who knows? Maybe competitively all phones once it comes out on that and stuff, because that's potentially the superior platform. I don't know.
But if West doesn't play on phones, then
that's on them. It's more on
but I'm saying there won't be
preference.
tournaments held in the West.
No.
if there's no
Again,
people playing kind of thing.
No, again, this is a cross-platform game, so it doesn't matter which platform you use.
But you said they don't do mobile as much. So if the West doesn't do mobile as
Sorry?
much, if they don't, if the West doesn't play mobile, and
They don't need
that's
to play
going to be
mobile.
a far viewer base, so nobody's going to do a tournament with no viewers, right?
But it's the same game on both mobile and Switch,
But
so
it's
you
the
could be
same
playing
game.
on Switch or mobile, and you can still play together. So the console you're playing
Yes,
on
yeah,
doesn't
and-
matter.
No, I
And
know, but I'm
cross-platform
saying the
and
West
cross,
is very
progression.
big. I'm saying the West is very heavily in like viewer base to player base. I think is very proportional to like people streaming the game. I think that's extremely important in the West.
I mean, people are going to stream this on like
Uh-huh.
BlueStacks. I mean, people are going to stream it on emulators. It's going to happen.
I'm saying that if there aren't tournaments, then people won't be streaming the game.
I don't think it's I don't think it's it directly is proportionate to if there's no tournaments, then no people would be streaming the game, or vice versa.
So
You know?
like there are companies that sponsor North American teams, right? And they only sponsor North American teams. But what are these North American teams going to play against if there's no tournaments in North America? Because people aren't like, why would, okay, I kind of worded that wrong. Why would they? So my speed running example was you're sponsored not because of tournaments, you're sponsored just because you're popular anyway, right? Like you have
Yeah.
a big stream.
Yeah.
So who
So
is
that's a
it?
different kind of a sponsorship, you know.
This is
You're
like,
not
who
sponsored as a
sponsors-
player.
Yes, but I think you need streamers in the West for your game to do well competitively or non-competitively, just in general. I think you need streamers. But who's going to sponsor a streamer? And if the streamers aren't getting sponsored, that means less people can play the game competitively because they don't
Wait,
necessarily see a
say that,
reward for playing the
so-
game. If they want to play something
are you-
competitively, they will play a different game if they think they
Okay.
can get sponsored. And those people
So are
probably
you
very
saying that
popular.
if there are no streamers, then there can't be any competitive scene for
I'm
Pokemon
saying-
Unite? And
Interest will be
if
lower.
there's no stream, if there's
I'm
no
saying-
sponsors, there's no streamers.
I'm saying if
Because
there
that's
are no
a really
streamers
huge
in the
controversial
West,
take.
I don't think it necessarily is. Like these games that have been top Twitch forever continue to stay top Twitch, and they grow because they are top Twitch, and people make YouTube videos on popular games, right? Like it's like I would say it's exponential. Where if you are up, so like for example, this happens in speedrunning all the time. If a speedrunning game like Super Mario 64 is being run by people that are streaming it to thousands of people versus that big streamer isn't streaming at the time, the category tanks and people don't watch the game. And then people don't find out that you can speedrun Super Mario 64. So they lose players, they lose new people. I think it's like super strong in the West.
I'd like to.
So Pollux is talking about Asmongold, right? You can say that for the WoW section. People play WoW, or like a lot of people watch WoW. They don't even care about the game. They just want to watch the people. But it keeps the category
I think that's
high.
different.
and WoW
I
has
think that is
survived
a totally
partly-
different demographic. I think that's a total different demographic.
I'm saying that is the demographic of North America. People will play the popular game because they even know it exists.
North America is not the only, not the only audience of,
No, I
this
know.
game.
But that is so like if you're saying like you were saying the whole like TPCI thing took away Asia. So what other regions exist for this to have a competitive scene? I assume it's like the other, like maybe there's a Europe, maybe there's a North America and a South America. I don't know how that stuff works. But there are other regions that have to exist for something to stay alive. And if North America doesn't exist and they're only making the Switch release for North America, It seems like there's some kind
But
of
they're
issue
not.
here.
But they're not though.
They're not what?
But you said
It's a global
you
release.
said like
But you said the Switch version is only coming out, and it's not only coming out on mobile because the people in North America don't play
Yeah.
mobile that much, basically. So the
North
reason they're
American
releasing it
background
on
doesn't play
Switch is for North American audiences, but they're not going to be making a North American audience for it. If I could make a quick sort of semi detour. You were talking about speedrunning. I wanted to give another example to sort of see if there are sponsors for this. At the risk of sounding kind of cringe, I'm interested. Does like Among Us streaming have sponsors? Because that's a non-competitive game that a lot of people watch in North America. So I'd be interested to know, can that, because it's so heavily watched, can that be sponsored by a streamer or for a streamer or not? Does that happen at all? Does
The
anybody know?
streamer will
Anything
get
about the game, I
sponsored,
don't know.
but like streamer for playing the game is not. No.
Okay, so then that would be a similar situation to Pokemon Unite then, if in North America at least, I'm not talking about the Asian countries, but in North America where the Switch is the bigger version and not the mobile, then if people like in Among Us aren't going to get sponsored just for playing the game and being popular, then there aren't going to be tournaments and there aren't going to be streamers, so it won't be played in North America. Is that an incorrect statement?
When you say it won't be played, do you mean won't be played competitively?
No, I just mean it won't be played, like, it's not going to be streamed on Twitch, because the Twitch streamers who would be streaming it because it would be a popular game are going to be playing stuff like League or Valorant or Among Us or things that can actually make them money rather than a game that nobody on Twitch is watching.
So I'd like to just make a comment here. So Legends put this in my chat. He said, streamers bring in money. No streamers equals no money. No money means not a lot of tourney entry. I think that's valid.
It's not directly proportional though. I mean, yes, it does help
They're not like,
with the word for for the game, but like it does not directly it's not directly proportional to the competitive scene.
I wonder, it may be good to look like just, and this is just me guessing. Does anyone know? Do you want to talk about how mobile MOBAs are doing? Was Wild Rift advertised at all, or is there a bunch of streamers for that?
Wild Rift fell
don't
off,
know.
I think.
I'm just
There are a lot of Riot sponsored streamers to advertise the game. Yeah.
What
But
about
like those are
non-Riot
most especially in Asia. I'm pretty sure that, as I mentioned earlier, Wild Rift is not as big as it is in Asia. In the West. Just because again the mobile market for Western countries is very poor. Going back is going to be the reason why they made the Switch version just for the Western market, because console games, quote unquote console games, captures the Western market than those of the mobile market, because the mobile market once again is the Asian market. So
Would Pokemon Unite have more potential in countries other than the sort of Asian region if, and this is a huge if they brought it to PC and stuff like that? If they brought it off the Switch and to other
100%.
things? Yeah, okay. I hope that happens, but I get the feeling it's not gonna, because I know TPC.
nah, it's
not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, but it's a good proposition, but it's never gonna happen
Yeah.
just because it's a Nintendo.
Sure, yeah, of course. Yeah, I just...
Granted, for what it is in terms of like console and mobile MOBA, it is really fun. And I'm not saying it couldn't be better if it was PC, but like I think part of the being a little more simplistic as part of the platform
Sure.
is honestly a good thing.
Of course.
in my eyes.
I don't disagree with that. I just think it would have more reach, basically.
No, I could.
It would.
agree with that.
It would. Yeah.
I don't like using a control stick. It's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I'm used to
Honestly, on September, I'm going to be jumping into the mobile version in September just because of the controls, and
Yeah,
the Switch version
I'll-
is just kind of stupid.
I'll try both. I feel like Switch honestly was pretty good. The biggest thing I wish is that you could up the sensitivity of like aiming AoE abilities, because like if you want to like dive away from the opponent or use a mobility point away, you have to like take a second to swing it across. There are some things I feel like aiming was a little easier for some things on controller.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One more thing is, all your moves automatically targets your opponents. So that is, I guess, one of the big problems for LDCUS players. That especially when you're playing, using Pollen Puff, right? Pollen Puff, it will automatically target your opponent than when you're trying to just heal up your teammates. So you would need to take a second to aim to your opponents, and even then, it wouldn't be stuck on your teammates. So
Okay, so there's one thing I want to bring up that people are talking about here, that I have no idea about. They kind of gave me a little info, but there are divisions apparently for age groups that play these Nintendo games. Can you give me some info or insight?
So for the Pokemon Company, right? For the Pokemon Company International, how they run things is they put up age divisions for VGC, which is the mainline titles, the main video games, TCG, and Pokken. So there's 3 divisions. There's the juniors, the seniors, and the masters. For Pokken, there's only seniors and masters. So basically, these are like, okay, these guys 13 and below, 14 to 16, and then 18 and above. But I believe they changed the age grouping, quite recently. So 16 and above is like masters. But anyway, point being is, again, if they're going to be applying this to Pokemon Unite, a team game, I don't think it's going to work out pretty well for them. Again, they can't treat this as they are treating their other competitive games. They have to treat this as an actual esports MOBA game.
Is the doubt for that mega high?
Sorry.
I mean, maybe this is just hoping. I could see them do the normal world circuit or whatever, but then also opening it more. But that's more of just a want, and I don't have much knowledge about all this, so.
I mean, like, look at this, right? Like, okay, so we've formed a team. So 5 of us, right now, right here, we're a team. Let's suppose I'm like 12 years old.
I'm getting carried.
But I'm just really good at the game that you have me on your team, right? And it wouldn't matter what my age is, right? Just because I'm good at the game. But if they're gonna be applying these age grouping in Pokemon Unite, then that means you guys, supposing that you are like 18 years old or above, right? All of you guys, so that means you would need to get a replacement for me, because I wouldn't be able to play with you on the same division just because I'm 12 years old. So that would disrupt a lot of things in a mobile game.
So someone is saying a division system like Pokken, is it already different? How does that game handle these things?
Sorry,
if it is different.
Like what?
I think Unite will have the same division system as Pokken, or else it will. Oh, sorry.
Pokken tournament? Yeah.
Or else it will be strictly Masters in terms of comp scene.
I think.
What does that mean? I don't know much about that.
Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 divisions for VGC and TCG, right? But for Pokken, there's only 2: seniors and masters. Why
is that good?
Sorry.
Why is that good?
It
may just have to do with the rating of the game. Is Pokken rated T or something? Like
it's I believe it's E. It's still E10 plus.
Well, yeah,
because
okay, so then that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the point that JJ is trying to make is the fact that because
it doesn't
Unite
make any sense for
game,
those kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're doing Pokken or TCG, VGC, it's just generally single players, and that doesn't matter. Like in terms of you're in your division, that's fine.
But for-
I think
Okay,
what
but what I'm trying to say here
that
is
for Unite, if there's potentially some really good young players, but they wouldn't be able to go in the Masters if that would be the higher one, because it's a team
Okay,
game.
so-
People who would want to play together may not be able to.
okay.
Something
So
like
what I'm
that?
trying to say here is the whole age division is kind of a double-edged sword, just because of the fact that yeah, sure. Let's say I'm a prodigy in the game, right? In VGC, but I'm still young. So
Post,
I would
are
be
you
just,
planning on playing with Pokken with, or
you know,
not Pokken?
doing some ass whooping
Unite with
in my
us?
division?
I know you're
Just
sort
because
of
I'm a prodigy. Same
watching
goes
this
with
stuff and you're
Pokken.
interested in it, but I'm
Like,
interested
okay,
if
I might be 12 years
you be
old,
playing
but
it
I
all
could
with
whoop
us. I'd
the
love to
asses
play
of
with you,
those
but
who are like 30s.
I figured you weren't into it.
Just because I'm a prodigy in the game, I'm really just that good. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm
these
really hoping
age,
Peanut joins
age groups
us.
is just really a double-edged sword. Is what I'm trying to say. And but most especially for Unite, like again, we are. Let's again going back. Let's suppose that we are already established ourselves as the team. We have
Good
been
enough for
playing
me, I'll take
every
it.
day, doing some scrims, playing on tournaments. All 5 of us. But when it comes to the official circuit, you know, by Pokemon, apparently there's going to be an age group. So suddenly you have to remove it from your team. Wouldn't that make you frustrated?
Yeah, that's why I sort of thought you might be.
Well, that's assuming there's other tournaments going on, right?
Open Mr.
Well, I
Mime.
mean, at
Don't
this
open
point,
your
we
Mr. Mime. You don't want to see
sorry,
that shit.
At this point, we actually have to assume that there's going to be because
Just his guts.
I,
going
for
around.
one,
You
would
skin
definitely be
idea for
hosting
Mr. Mime.
events,
Open Mr. Mime.
tournaments for this game, and I know
Inside out
there's
Mr.
going to be a lot
Mime.
of organizers as well.
Monokuma Mr.
So-
Mime.
But
I'll feel that, Peanut.
the
Love
big
that.
reason that ever happens
Less
with the
intensive
whole
MOBA
like
is
swapping players,
big plus.
this happened in CS:GO where there are some banned players and they could play in certain tournaments and not certain tournaments. The only reason they ever wanted the banned players in their team was really because there was money involved in a big prize pool tournament, so they swapped in a good player, or they were thinking of doing.
those
that,
are.
let's say.
I mean,
So, like-
those are teams that have.
Post, I would love to take
I'm
I'm
your
saying
cat
that would
off
happen with
you,
the age
but
group
my
also,
dad
where, like,
is
the age group
allergic.
disqualifies you for an official game, but you can do the
I would absolutely
extended
love to
tournament,
be your cat dad,
the
but I cannot.
independent tournament, with the
Yeah.
age group difference.
I mean, for those kinds of reasons, that's. I mean, those are, the reasons why these teams in other esports have more than enough players in their roster.
Well, I'm just
you know,
saying I wouldn't have
for-
picked you up on the team at all if you're 12. If there's no money involved, like there's no reason for me to pick you up if you're 12.
What if you're really good?
Well, I don't really care because I can't play on your like.
Okay,
I
yeah,
might just
okay. We're
not.
talking about
You're-
with the divisions. Okay, yeah.
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 You're saying if the parameters are known ahead of time,
Sure.
on some level it may suck, but but it's something that you just learn to live with because that's just the way the rules work for the official tournaments.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. It's such a double-edged sword, just because of those kinds of matters. Like, we're not saying
Hey,
that
y'all think
people who
y'all
are
think
older
SilkOP
sucks,
is
but,
still alive?
you know, we have to
I'm
live
worried
with
about
that
him.
because
Someone check
this
on
is what the
SilkOP.
organizer said, and well, yeah, that's basically that. You know, this is what the organizer said, and we can't do anything about it.
Okay, I feel like we've touched on this a lot.
And that's the
Maybe.
way
Yeah.
the cookie crumbles. Not much to do.
So
Well,
let's just do another
it's
trivia
a lot of
question.
speculation.
Woo!
I'd love to hear what Pokemon everybody would like to get into the game. I think that'd be interesting. Unless I don't want to step on your toes though.
No, go for it. I don't care.
Okay.
More birds.
More
Oh.
birds.
Apparently, we
Anything
need
like-
tails in the game. Apparently, more tails.
Hey.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, does anybody have any like big Pokemon that they really want in?
I
Yeah.
just want Ditto still. That's
You know,
all.
right?
The Ditto, nice.
I'm the Ditto guy.
I mean, I'm quite satisfied as like the Talonflame's just design and everything is my favorite Pokemon, and because of Unite, Cramorant's now my number 2.
Nice.
If we were gonna go for my number 3, it'd be probably Corviknight, maybe like a defender of some sort. But yeah.
Bird tamer. Bird tamer
Yep.
Fletchahh. Yeah. I would love Beheeyem. It's a really weird pick, but it's one of my favorite Pokemon these days because of.
Is it not
competitive.
Beheeyem? That's how I've always said it.
Well, it's a pun on BEM, Elgium is LGM, like Little Green Man, and BEM is BEM. So it's BEM.
Big elephant.
I'm not. What's the?
No, that's how it's pronounced. That's
Well, yeah,
how
but
the
what
names
does it
are
stand for
pronounced.
then? You
So-
want it in the game, and you don't even know what is this.
Bug-eyed
Come on. You gotta know all the
monster.
lore.
No, it's LGM is Little Green Man and BEM is Bug-eyed monster.
They're just, I think, references to.
It's just aliens, just how
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I just really like BEM. I think it's a really fun, cool Pokemon. I'd love to see it as an attacker, but that's just my pick.
Cool.
Okay. Apparently, Legends just wants only Metapod. He doesn't care about the other evolutions. He just wants Metapod.
Well, I
The
don't.
greatest defender.
It's Butterfree has sort of been seen with some mob code, so it's fully possible that Butterfree is going to be a mob, which not great
Okay,
for
that's cool.
for Metapod.
Oh yeah, that.
I saw someone do in the r/Pokemon Unite server a really cool concept for Smeargle, and oh my gosh, like there's the limitless potential of adding that kind of character into the game. It could just
Was it
lead to so
Forever
many
a
wacky
Drones?
things.
Was it Forever a Drones with Dark Void and like
Yes.
Spore and stuff? Yeah, that's Forever a Drones. He couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah, that was such an interesting concept. Just because you can just make so many things together. He had a lot of moves that had, when he worded it out, it was really interesting how they would work, right? And so, just something that has that kind of creativity to it, that open palette, I think would be something really interesting.
Hear me out though. Transform.
I can legitimately see Ditto being like a mini boss, where it like transforms into the strongest like enemy person on the enemy team when you're fighting it, and if you kill it, you get some sort of buff. I don't think it would be playable, but I can definitely see it being a mob. I think Ditto has potential that way.
Somebody was asking about. Oh wait, did everybody go yet or no?
I think.
Oh, I was just gonna suggest from people who like my only MOBA experience is Here's the Storm. Is there any kits that people specifically want to get in? Because I'd love to see like maybe Q2Fly or have some sort of Brightwing-esque kit or something.
Well, that's why I want Ditto, is because Rubik is kind of like that, where he steals a spell from the enemy team. Like the last one
Right.
that hero used, he steals it and can use it. That's why I kind of like Transform, because then you can like either use maybe your allies' spells double time, or you can steal the enemy's spells and use them against them.
What if they had
Like their move. Sorry, not spells.
What if they had Dodrio or Phalanx as like Cho'Gall, where you have several people controlling the one Pokemon?
Oh, that'd be great.
Six people for one Phalanx.
Oh snap! Let me think of a League of Legends one.
Chimecho as Sona, maybe something similar to that.
Oh, that would be actually that would be funny, but actually like so lame because Sona is like the most simple character in League. I would think something. I'm gonna go on the Ditto one, and it's gonna be like this, okay? But like, so Ditto is weaker, but when you kill someone, you get to turn into them, and you can kind of just keep changing it, like
Viego.
League of Legends, Viego, League of
okay.
Legends.
I mean, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. So
I don't know if the lore is behind it though.
And you could do
I don't
like
know.
Zoroark as like Nico, sort of, would also work with the illusion.
That's true. That's true. Make multiple.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
want some
that's
sort of
cool.
artillery mage, like something like Zerath or Ziggs or something like that, just like long range rage. And I hear Gardevoir sort of like that. I haven't gotten a chance to play Gardevoir at all, but I'm excited
Yeah.
for Gardevoir because that's the kind of character I like.
That sounds like sort of long range, try to predict movement.
Mhm.
Sounds like Gardevoir.
Yeah, I'd love something like that.
Someone's asking about the bird swaps. Do you guys know that kind of stuff on the different maps and whatnot?
Bird
I don't
swaps?
actually know myself.
It's Zapdos is
Like,
the
instead of
main
Zapdos.
Baron, Avalugg on the 4v4 map, and Regigigas on the 3v3 map.
I think unless they change it, maybe they change it for the, at least in the Canadian beta, it was Articuno was in the.
Articuno.
Yeah,
changed.
for Japanese
they changed it?
stress test, it was
Oh, cool.
Avalugg.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why, but they liked.
Yeah, they brought Ice Table in. Gotta love Ice
Yeah,
Table.
exactly. Ice Table.
I only know this guy because he's in New Snap. So
Yup. Ice Table's.
Ice Table's
Pretty
dope.
sick.
I'm very happy he's in somehow. Oh,
He died again. No.
I'm getting the feeling maybe this should. Maybe we're running out of daylight here.
Welcome back.
why does Discord keep restarting? Like, I close out of a Firefox tab
Right.
and Discord restarts. I don't get it.
Huh.
What did I do?
I don't know, man. This doesn't like
But
it.
yeah, like the Behemoth, that's a new snap. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me look at just the whole roster. Let's see. Who do they got in that? Absol, I already knew, but he's a new snap.
Yeah, I made a
Eldegoss, new
Eldegoss.
snap.
I made a form changing Meloetta concept a couple of weeks ago, like that switches between like a melee pirouette form and a ranged aria form, and I thought that could be something interesting, sort of like a Jace-esque character.
Makes me
And
think
then
of
Talent Flame, this last one.
the Here's the Storm equivalent would be Greymane, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with HOTS, but
Yeah.
I trust you.
Or at least in terms of can do both melee and ranged.
But we have Greninja that sort of does that right now, but I was thinking more like
Yeah.
like a more defined like form change.
Yeah.
I think any form changer. I think Aegislash would be a really cool form changer. Anything with a form change, I think, has a lot of potential.
AKA Ditto.
That is
Gotta
a,
be in the game.
That will be a little too much of a form change right
All
there.
the forms.
Kled as Ice Cube, where the face breaks and he gets like really fast and stuff. My someone in chat was just saying Kled as Calyrex on the horse though.
That would be disgusting.
I don't want Calyrex and Unite. Please keep him out. Keep out Xerneas. Keep out Landorus Therian. Please don't bring him in here. I don't want to
What
see.
is a Meloetta?
Meloetta is the
and
Gen 5
Mythical?
Mythical. It's the musical based one, so it has the aria form, which is like the singing, and the pirouette form, which is like dancing, and so it's like a range thing when it's like singing, and its pirouette form is melee because it attacks.
So it's
by,
kind of like Deoxys, where it has different things.
Right, but Deoxys you can only basically change its form outside of battle, whereas Meloetta actually can change forms inside of battle by using a move. Whereas Deoxys is like just between battles you can decide what form you have.
Yeah, I guess the other form ones would be like what Keldeo, Resolute or not.
Well, Keldeo, the form change is irrelevant. It's literally just the one.
Yeah.
I don't.
They could make it a difference. The anime did, so
Like Shade. I mean, Shaman, I guess, would be a better one for that, I guess.
Shaman,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Again, yeah. Just I don't think Shaman can switch inside of battle unless it gets frozen. In
Nah,
which case,
it
it like goes back. If Skyform gets frozen, it'll become Landform. But that's about the only way.
I know a big one that would be huge for skins would be Vivillon. I don't know if that's a popular one.
Oh, a couple
But
of colors, yeah.
It has, I know from New Snap, it has a bunch of different looking forms. So
Yeah,
you just
the
like
different
have the
regional
basic
variants,
one, and
yeah.
then it, like someone has to buy all the other skins or something.
yeah,
I
I
think
can't wait
it's-
to see what skins they do, particularly like the more expensive ones for more of the non-humanoid characters.
Oh, they're hilarious. I want
Yeah,
like
right.
We all
Eldegoss
agree
stuff.
that Snorlax and the
the Pineapple
thing around
Berry.
his waist is the
Berry,
best
yeah.
outfit in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like he just runs around and then jumps on you, and he's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want like a skin line where it's like corporate, like the corporate skin line from League of Legends, where they all get like little ties and stuff, like Crustle with a tie over his like giant block, or like stuff like that, or they just get business suits. I think that'd be hilarious.
They could
That would
definitely
be
do a
funny.
pirate theme. People
I mean,
love the
yeah.
Cinderace one.
Yeah.
It seems.
Now, for some
For
reason,
sure.
I'm imagining like Abe Lincoln, Crystal. For some reason,
What?
I was
what
thinking
does that even mean?
Our arcade
Just-
Crustle with a
on him.
Minecraft block.
Toss the
That's
hat,
good.
the hat on him, yeah.
hat and the little beard.
That's hilarious.
I like the
Maybe
Minecraft
just-
block and the portal
Maybe just
cube.
Crystal
You
with
could
a
just
beard.
throw stuff at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Crustle needs skins. I'm so sad he doesn't. I'm surprised.
Well, I know
yeah.
a lot of people have said birthday cake.
Birthday cake. Yeah, I think that's gonna. I hope that's a 1-year anniversary thing. The one Pokemon I'm really surprised doesn't have any Hollowware yet is Gengar, because I feel like Gengar's popular, and yet there are no skins for Gengar.
I don't know if this is like a real thing, but in Pokemon Go, he has like another style in a raid you could battle and get it.
That's
know if that was
that's Mega
or-
Gengar. That's slightly different. Megas haven't. I don't know if they will incorporate Megas into this. I think it'd be
Well,
Well,
interesting.
that could be a skin, right?
I'm
That's what I'm thinking. It's like he
yeah.
kind of
Well,
looks.
not
It functions
don't know.
differently is the thing. Is it would be kind of weird, because like I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Are
saying
you
it's
talking about
just a
Halloween
skin.
costume?
That's all.
Talking about the
Just a-
Halloween costume for Finger? That's not Mega. That's like
It
a
might have been
different one.
Halloween.
Where he has like a
Might-
peg sticking out of his head.
Oh yeah, the yeah.
Yeah,
I
he has
don't
like a Halloween costume. That's pretty like.
I will
Pretty
say, like, I feel like I'm probably not the only person, but like, I personally don't care if shinies ever get skins, master skins, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
those
I
should
don't
be
care. I
mastery
mean-
based. I don't think they should be paid. I
Yeah.
think that would be really dumb, because why would I want to pay for a recolor when I can pay for like Garchomp in like beachwear, because that's hilarious, or like Snorlax with an inner tube is funny, whereas slightly yellower Pikachu, I don't care. I would much rather have drip Pikachu than slightly yellower Pikachu.
I just wonder, like, do you think they're gonna add any of the actual like Pikachu costumes?
Oh, that'd be interesting, because
There's,
I
like,
mean,
5 of them.
there's
a
like,
lot.
I mean, Pikachu Libre is like a separate character in Pokken.
Yeah, that too. I forgot about
I made a post and I was like, Pokemon Go for their Go Fest has this skin on Pikachu, and people didn't seem to think that was a logical assumption that it could get ported to this game.
I mean,
I was like,
if we're talking
is
about
that
Pokemon Go
wrong?
Pikachu skins, Pikachu has like 30 skins. in
No, I know,
Pokemon.
but I'm thinking like if this game releases and then Go Fest happens, because it has like a special costume at Go Fest this year. So I was like, why wouldn't they just put that skin in this game too? But like people didn't seem to like that theory. Is that bad?
I think the reason people are maybe thinking that that's not going to happen, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think the problem is that the skin that they're giving Pikachu, it's not a new thing to Pokemon Go. That's an existing form of Pikachu that existed in Gen 6, and it had different mechanics, like it had different moves. And so I'm thinking people's thoughts are that because it's a different quote-unquote form of the cosplay Pikachus.
Cosplay Pikachu?
Yeah, we're talking about like
I didn't know
Bell,
that.
Bell form, Popstar form, Rock form. What they're bringing to Pokemon Go this year at GoFest is they're bringing Popstar and Rockstar form, which are just different Pikachu forms. So I think that's why people are a little bit more hesitant on them
Oh,
bringing that.
yeah, I don't know anything about Gen 6.
That's why I'm here. I finally my time to shine.
Yes, Technovoid.
Woo!
Oh, popping off.
Popping off on worthless
I know
knowledge
things about the
spin-offs.
anime. I've watched like all the anime, so if there's things.
I know there's a Beedrill in the anime.
Nice.
There's
That
this
is
one.
true.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Megas. I would love Megas in this. I don't know how they would function, but there's just a lot of Pokemon that like aren't that cool normally, but are super cool with their Mega. Like Pinsir is whatever, but Mega Pinsir's like dope.
Whoa!
Look, Mega Pinsir's a lot cooler.
Whoa!
Mega Pinsir's a
What's
lot.
wrong with normal Pin? I didn't even know there was a Mega. What's wrong with normal Pinsir?
It's just alright. It's just fun. I mean, look, Pinsir versus Heracross. I'm just saying Heracross all the way.
They're both cool.
Heracross is
They're
cooler.
both cool.
Eric,
But like Lopunny,
I
Mega
like
Lopunny,
Heracross
Beedrill,
more.
Mega Beedrill,
Like, oh, they got a Scyther. He's
Scyther into Scizor. That's a fan favorite. I think in the poll that went up for our Pokemon Unite, Scizor got the most votes of any Pokemon in terms of people wanting it to come
Wow.
to the game with 11.
See, I like Scyther a lot, but I actually don't like Scizor. I don't like the red. I don't. He seems too curved, not sharp. I don't know.
Right. Kind of dulled the edge. I should say.
Yeah, like he's got the claws that are curved. Like they do have pointy tips at the end, but they're kind of curved.
But they have more crushing power. Ha-cha-cha.
Well, he's got like armor
The
now, right?
name.
Or something.
Yeah,
I don't know
Scizor's-
how he becomes Scizor, but it seems like he's got some armor.
something with a metal coat.
Yeah, you trade it with a metal coat, and
Oh, metal
basically
coat,
its
yeah.
its base stats don't change, but its base stats get moved around, so it becomes less fast and more defensive. Is like
Well, that sounds
Right.
terrible.
it's actually better, but
It's only weak
Yeah.
to fire, 4 times a week, but it's still only having 1 week.
I mean, 4 times weak to fire, but can we talk about how absolutely garbage of a typing bug flying is? Bug flying is
probably.
terrible. I mean, 4x to rock.
Let's see.
I think one of the worst is what? Aurorus? Ice Rock is
Ice Rock
terrible.
is so bad.
Yeah, because you're 4 times weak to steel, weak to fire, weak to fighting, type by 4 times. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. Yeah, no, that's pretty poor.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bug Steel it does have a quad weakness to fire, but that is literally its only weakness. It is neutral or resists everything else, whereas Bug Flying just has a bunch of weaknesses and, like, barely any resists. So Scizor does have the better typing.
I already know the answer to this question, but are you happy that there are no types in this game?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I feel like I had to ask it.
I see people saying there should be typings. It's like, do you understand how MOBAs work? I don't think you do.
Dude,
I mean, there's no typing.
Machamp would be better, right? I think, right?
With all the fairies in the game, Machamp would be worse.
Well,
Yeah,
there's no typing in Pokken anyways, so.
This is true.
Yeah, Garchomp would
Oh,
Garchomp would be garbage. Because of all the fairies. Machamp would be garbage. Crustle would be top tier because of all the 4x weaknesses to rock in the game with Charizard and Talonflame. No, typing
Random
would be
question.
weird.
Do you guys think
Pikachu
Pikachu's
like
range is
Cramorant.
too far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why it's that
Thing
far.
toss Electro Ball from downtown. Like, oh my god.
The fact that
No, I do-
Pikachu's
I do-
Electro Ball is point and click is ridiculous, I think.
I do think that they toned it down the damage, and particularly the Unite move, the range either seems slightly less or it doesn't just can't just insta win 3v1 or 1v3. But I do think they toned Pikachu down since the what's it called, beta?
Canada?
Yeah.
Canada, yeah.
Yes, that's the word. I know words.
Okay, trivia question. Because I made these, they might be wrong, but they
There's
still
always
gotta
ne-
be said.
Yeah, there's always next time. It's always round 2.
They're it. So I did lowest score before.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do who has the highest. There's only one.
I
No.
believe.
I know. At
According
least
to
one.
my data, which might be flawed.
Was it Cramorant?
No.
Oh no, maybe it was Talonflame with 26.
It's talent.
It was
Yeah.
You
26,
can't look
yeah.
at the
I'm not even
numbers.
surprised.
Are you
I'm not-
cheating
no,
on the trivia
no.
question?
No, he just had
I'm not-
birds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew it was
I-
26. I wasn't sure which of the birds it was.
I played Talonflame a lot initially before I fell in love with Cramorant, so.
Okay, which Pokemon has the lowest total move cooldown? So you take all 6 of them and you add them together, which I know obviously doesn't mean very much, but it does mean something at the end of the day.
No, I'm gonna think about this. This seems like an interesting one. And that's
I don't
not
know,
including like
Eldegoss?
resets or anything.
What is a
Reset.
no,
So like if Gengar uses like Sludge Bomb Hex, okay.
just
I don't know,
base
Eldegoss?
stuff? Nope. So you guys have thought about it for a bit.
Yeah.
I'll say this one should be the easiest question by far.
Oh boy. Let's see.
Absol.
Nope.
Nah.
I don't know.
There's a reason it's a severe outlier.
I feel like it's not Greninja, because Greninja's like dash is pretty high cooldown, I think. Yeah, so it can't be Greninja. I'm trying to think. I feel it. No. It's not Slowbro, because that telekinesis takes forever. It's not. I don't think it's Venusaur either, because I think Solar Beam is pretty high as
It
well.
should be the easiest question.
I'm working my way through.
And yet here we are, with no answer.
Pikachu just keeps spamming abilities. Pikachu.
Nope.
Crustle.
Nope.
What other Pokemon are in this game?
That's why you're not guessing it, by the way.
Charizard?
Nope.
Zeraora.
Nope.
A
He
Alolan
wasn't on the
Ninetales.
spreadsheet. It's the 21
Okay.
people.
Oh, okay, got it. Blastoise.
Nope.
What the heck?
Alolan Ninetales.
Nope.
Monsieur Mime.
Yes. Because he has a wall. It has a 2-second cooldown.
Oh,
That makes sense.
I see.
I think it's weird how they show. I think it's a longer cooldown, but 2 seconds between uses of it.
2-second charges, yeah.
It-
But I
same
consider that
thing
because if you use it once, it's on
Oh, yeah,
cooldown. basically, or
Same thing with Dive for Cramorant. I think it has like a either 4.5 or 5.5 second cooldown, but it can stack 3 charges. But there's a 1.5 second cooldown between uses.
something. Yeah, that's true. So I included that in.
This
Yeah,
is
mine-
We
rigged.
got to it eventually.
Because his first stuff is like 6 seconds or 6.5, and then he's got the wall for number 2, and I don't even know what his base moves are, but I guess they're not very long.
Yeah, fairly short.
Who has the highest total cooldown?
I'm gonna go throw down Slowbro for this one.
Nope.
Yeah, maybe still, bro.
I'm thinking about heading out. What is chat? What do you guys
That's a
think?
good guess.
I'm thinking about
Gardevoir?
ending it off here
Nope.
for my stream.
like-
Oh, no. Alolan 9.
Anybody still here?
No.
Anybody still
feel like
want to keep going?
Rare was long. That was what I was banking on.
That move's like it's 11 or 13, I forget.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
Guard Chomp.
Nope.
Darn. I feel like those cooldowns feel pretty long. Is like an outlier as well, or just kind of
Oh, Venusaur?
Nope. I don't know if this one's an outlier.
Beam is long.
like,
Let's see. Back to the spreadsheet.
let me see. I mean, I don't think it's Crust Boy. Crust Boy seems okay. So I
Well.
think it will be someone else. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Someone else. Yep, that's my final answer.
I will say there's.
I'm
I'm gonna say there's probably a Pokemon in this game that has the longest cooldowns out of everybody. That's probably correct.
I think so.
There is
Maybe
one.
you're
There
right.
is one. It's probably not a tie. We're probably correct in assuming it's not a tie.
I think so.
Actually, I think I'm asking the wrong question.
Wait,
Wait,
Rigged.
no, am I? I can check. Wait, no. So this is an outlier.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Who has like a stupidly high cooldown on move? That wasn't Slowbro.
It's all their moves are big.
Yeah.
That's
all of
So
them.
I guess that
because it's a
average-
total. It's not average. It's total. So you take all 6.
Well,
Okay.
it would technically be the average because you're putting them all together.
Yeah, but it goes both ways.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah.
Details.
So who
Cinderace.
do you like use a move and then you kind of just sit there and be like, okay, I guess I'm here. I'm just gonna sit here.
I was gonna say
Snorlax.
I thought it was like a.
No, he's got like 7-second cooldowns on move 1.
I feel like Greninja's force chickens are low enough that
Oh,
when
maybe Cinderace with the
Cinderace
face.
really. Oh, the feint is pretty long.
Yeah, I was
though.
thinking
That was a
Cinderace
good
potentially
guess.
as well, but
That was a good guess. I like that one.
So I think we're just out of Pokemon at this point. It's Blastoise.
Oh, wow, God.
rigged.
What do you mean rigged?
Where I didn't know where to. I never played the Canadian beta. I don't know this.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
Rigged.
but Some people here might have.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
then those people should be very happy that they got to and had that opportunity because I didn't, and I'm jelly.
If it makes you feel better, I had a lot of ping.
So, you guys, might be missing some of the questions. I'll give you an easy one here, okay? Actually, it might be wrong. So I got it. Well, someone said something and it made me feel like it's wrong.
Are you doubting yourself now?
Yeah. And I'll just check it real quick.
I'm a dip though. I'll talk to you guys later. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
I saw it.
Oh, Larius is now following. Thank you, Larius. You just just caught the end. So that was pretty fun. Maybe there will be more of these. Hope you guys enjoyed. I've been Technovoid, and of course MIT Epona. He's still going. If you want to continue watching, you can catch him over on his stream. But otherwise, oh no, you just missed it. The VOD will be up on YouTube, or you can go check out the VOD. I don't know. There's lots of ways you can watch it. There's VODs, there's the YouTube channel, there's MIT Epona. He's still going. Lots of ways. Anyways, you all have a lovely evening. And good night. It is 12:40. I have work in the morning. I have work in the morning. I've made some bad decisions tonight. Talk to y'all later. Goodbye.